Okay, well, you can hear from the cheers, hopefully, that the game is about to begin. It means the teams are heading out of the tunnel towards that Premier League hoarding. Liverpool's Jordan Henderson holding his arms aloft. Alisson as well. For all the fans who are here, what an atmosphere as Hey Jude resounds throughout the Etihad Stadium. It is Manchester City taking on Liverpool in your 12:30 kick-off. Two sides who have set the standard, raised the bar. They have pushed one another to greatness and glory in the last 5 years. You wonder, could they have done it without each other? It's been mouth-watering battle, epic at times, and what a delight to watch it all unfold. 19 points separate the two today. The landscape is a little bit different, but whilst form is temporary, class is permanent. There is always a chance that Liverpool can bring back some of that class that's seen them go toe-to-toe with the champions in recent years and stop their title ambitions, even if it isn't Liverpool who are in contention to win it themselves. Their season's aspirations certainly depend on this game as well. We cannot wait for this one. What an atmosphere at the Etihad, and it's time to hand you over to our commentary team, who are the former Manchester City player and manager Stuart Pearce, the former Liverpool and Scotland midfielder Charlie Adam, but first, Talksport's chief football commentator Sam Matterface.
Thank you, Reshmin. The banners depicting two great bands from this city. We see things you'll never see. One of the lyrics from Oasis, which was emblazoned under a blue and white flag opposite us, and Unknown Pleasures, Manchester City away to our right, which is the title of a Joy Division studio album from the 80s, rolled up, and it's time to get down to business. The Etihad Stadium in Manchester is the first of 4 gripping clashes on the Talksport network today at the start of Showdown Saturday. Joshua versus Franklin, Luton versus Watford, a relegation 6-pointer at Palace, and the biggest football match of the weekend, Manchester City versus Liverpool. You don't get that anywhere else. Most of the Premier League season is about making sure you're a contender, but once the March international break is over, the punches you throw begin to land, and if you drop your guard, you can get knocked out. This is where the heavyweights emerge. They might be behind on the scorecard, but Manchester City can still become the undisputed champion. But remember last season, they stopped Liverpool from unifying all the awards, and how the boys from the Kop would love to floor Pep for Klopp. The big news is Erling Haaland is not fit for Manchester City. He missed international duty with a groin issue. There's no Bernardo Silva in the starting lineup, and Manchester City start like this. Ederson is their goalkeeper. Stones, Diaz, Akanji and Ake the back four. Rodri and Gundogan the two holders in midfield, with Mahrez, De Bruyne and Grealish behind Alvarez in attack. For Liverpool, Darwin Núñez is only on the bench, so it's Alisson in goal, a back four of Alexander-Arnold, Konate, Van Dijk and Robertson the back four, Henderson, Fabinho and Elliott in midfield, Salah, Jota and Gakpo up top. Manchester City in light blue jerseys, white shorts and light blue socks. It's all red for Liverpool. The two captains, Gundogan and Jordan Henderson, toss the coin in the middle of the park before we get underway here with referee Simon Hooper. Our VAR today, John Brooks and Stuart Pearce. This is a massive game for both these two teams. Liverpool have got to try and finish into the top four. They're off the pace. Manchester City have to keep winning.
Well, I think from Liverpool's point of view, recruitment is massive, so they've got to get in the top four to keep bringing those dangle the carrot of Champions League football, I think, for the top players in world football. From City's point of view, if you don't win today, you drop points. Arsenal will be rubbing their hands going into the game against Leeds this afternoon.
Gakpo up front and Jota out wide, is that how you see it?
Yeah, it's 4-3-3 there. Harvey Elliott just a little bit wider, but no, I think the battle of midfield, Rodri, De Bruyne, Gundogan in there, it's a brilliant matchup. It's just what form. Just look at what form will Salah turn up in, what form will Kevin De Bruyne turn up after these international games.
We are underway on Talksport. In the blue corner we've got Stuart Pearce, in the red it's Charlie Adam, and on the pitch two heavyweights slugging it out for 3 valuable points in the best league in the world. Alisson has the ball under pressure from Mahrez immediately, plays it square to Andy Robertson, who travels down the touchline at a rapid pace and gives it straight to John Stones. And we expect Manchester City to have a lot of the ball in the game. They're used to dominating possession. Liverpool won't mind that too much because they're a fabulous counter-attacking team, Charlie.
Yeah, they got the pace. I think that's why Jota's in the team, and I think it looks like Salah's sort of playing a little bit more in the centrally with Gakpo today at the moment. But that speed of that front three could cause Liverpool, Man City problems on the turnover.
I think Charlie's spot on there. As I say, it looks like Elliott on the right hand side, Jota on the left, with sort of Salah down the middle with Gakpo behind him at present. But
a bit of a 4-4-2 really.
Yeah, that could change.
Rodri picks it up deep inside his own half, travels towards the centre circle, plays it out wide to Nathan Ake, whose chest is pumped out at the front. He pushes the ball down the line, looking for Grealish. Grealish travels, then lays it off towards Alvarez. Out comes Van Dijk and tucks it into the stand opposite us, the East stand, and away for a throw into Manchester City. 0-0 the score. We played just a little over a minute and a half, and you're listening to Talksport. And then there was a little flash point off the ball. Fabinho has collided with Gundogan. Gundogan's gone down. I don't know whether or not he slipped there, Gundogan, and he was clotheslined by Fabinho.
Fabinho sort of just put his hand in his face and he's went down. But just there talking about John Stones going and playing in beside Rodri, out of possession, in possession. You know, 2 at the back against Salah and then 2 in the midfield. So, you know, that's something that they look to try and build on, trying to get overload in that midfield and try and, you know, dominate Liverpool in there.
No action taken against Fabinho. There's a foul throw from Grealish, surely, into Gundogan. It's back on the left-hand side. They're on the attack, Manchester City. Ake comes across, puts the ball straight out of play, and it's away for another throw-in. Tight to the touchline, far side. Alexander-Arnold in the right full-back position, tossed it into midfield. Henderson up to Gakpo, he's having his shirt pulled by Rodri. Shouldn't really do that, but, you know, he doesn't really like rubbish football and time wasting. Ball's played out to the left-hand side. Robertson into the centre, looking for a cross towards the back post. Scoots past Ake, goes through the penalty area and goes out to Salah on the other side. He wins a duel with Grealish. It comes back to Elliott and then into Alexander-Arnold, who then plays it into Salah once again. Elliott picks it up, plays it infield. Fabinho over the top. Salah's on the march, tries to get to the byline. It's going to run out of room, is he? Just about. Goes out of play and away for a goal kick away to our left-hand side. Liverpool's record here, not very good at all. Just 3 wins in 16 visits in all competitions. Manchester City have found their consistency before that international break. And Liverpool have been a model of inconsistency, Stuart. A team that would go quite happily and beat Manchester United 7-0 and then lose to Bournemouth.
Yeah, they've been very, very inconsistent, as you say, with their results, and that's probably where they are in the division at this moment in time. And just going back to a point Charlie made beforehand about Salah being that defensive shield in front of Trent, well, he'll probably have Harvey Elliott there. They'll offer him a little bit more. Here's
Rodri patrolling through that centre circle, runs into Fabinho, plays it left towards Ake. Ake tucks it out towards the far side. Grealish will pick it up now, plays it back infield, and it's collected by Rodri just left of the centre circle. We've played 4 minutes on Talksport. He's given the ball away cheaply, and Liverpool have it inside their own territory with Konate, who sends it square back out to Alexander-Arnold. Alisson is rushed by Alvarez, and eventually Alisson clips the ball out towards the near side. Alisson was surprisingly left out of the Brazil squad for the international break. Ederson, his opposite number today, was only on the bench in Morocco, where Brazil were beaten 2-1. Here is Mahrez, hugging the touchline on the near right for Manchester City. Gloves on, short sleeve shirt today for the Algerian. Pep Guardiola is clapping above his head as Manuel Akanji strides out of defence. Stones has wandered into a midfield position alongside Rodri, and Diaz has laid it off to the right for Akanji. Akanji immediately engaged by Diogo Jota before going square and finding Rodri. Shirt tucked in at the waist, running forward through the centre circle down the left side, hands it off to Ake. Ake now out further wide onto Grealish, who just stops, comes in field, takes on Elliott, beats him, moves into a midfield position, is engaged by Fabinho, who shrugs him to the floor. That's going to be a free kick.
Yeah, it's good play from Man City, patient play with the build-up. You know, two wingers stretching the pitch, Mahrez and Grealish, and allowing the ball to come out, and then doing what Jack Grealish does, goes and dribbles and commits people and gets fouls, and dangerous area for De Bruyne to put it into that box of Liverpool's.
Yeah, Kevin De Bruyne, who has been criticised for not having the greatest season so far this campaign, 19 assists and created more chances than anyone else in the Premier League this season.
Shabby, very shabby. A bit like their centre forward who's not playing today.
No, Erling Haaland, if you've just joined us, he's not in the matchday squad for Manchester City. De Bruyne with a free kick, 15 yards outside the area. He sends it square to Mahrez. They didn't deliver that into the box. They're still well outside the area here. It was a bit of a waste. He's now going to launch it into the box, De Bruyne, at an angle towards the far post. He's found Mahrez in a little bit of space, who's tucked it back for Alvarez, who's tried to chip the goalkeeper. Not enough loft on that. And it's straight into the arms of Alisson and cleared away. I don't know whether that was on purpose or not, Charlie.
No, I don't think it was on purpose. I think he's trying to clip it to the back post, but you could see straight away as soon as Alisson won the ball, it was counter-attack as quick as you can, run, sprint as you can, Salah, Gakpo, run, and Alisson tried to find him there.
Did have a bit of space at the far post. Riyad Mahrez on that attack managed to bring the ball down and cut infield and carve out an opportunity for Alvarez. The first half chance we've had in the game. It's 6 minutes on the clock. It's City 0, Liverpool 0 on Talksport. Manchester City have won their last 8 home games. They've ramped up their scoring ability in the last few weeks as well. They've bagged 31 goals in their last 10 games in all competitions.
I think it's important, Sam, that Henderson keeps his chest open to see where De Bruyne is this side, and obviously the other side of midfield, Gundogan, who drifts into inside left, inside right positions, that causes the likes of Robertson a problem. Do I go in with De Bruyne, or do I stay wide with Mahrez?
The thing you have with De Bruyne is he'll roll out into like a sort of false full-back position, and it's very hard to mark, especially if your winger jumps and he jumps the wrong side or wrong way and just allows that bounce pass in and out, because when he gets space and time, he can pick any pass on the pitch. Not so much with Gundogan, but he likes to come and play in a little pocket in behind Fabinho if he can, and get on the half turn and drive with the ball.
Well, the boos and the whistles are from the City fans who feel that Fabinho, who's had 2 nibbles at Jack Grealish and had a little push into the face of Ilkay Gundogan, should have been booked. He's given away a free kick on halfway. It's about 4 yards over the halfway line on the left-hand side of City. Look at it. And Simon Hooper did call over Fabinho and wanted a little word with him. I think that's his last warning. Next time he's going to go in the referee's notebook. Manchester City 0, Liverpool 0, live on Talksport. We've played 8 minutes. Here is Rodri, who's immediately under pressure from Salah and had to play a ball into a tight area, but has the preciseness to be able to do that. Sent forward over the top for Grealish to chase him in behind Trent Alexander-Arnold. He takes him on, cuts back in, goes one way, then the other, pokes it to the edge of the box, all stretching. Rodri couldn't quite reach it. Stones has got it, backing him up, out to De Bruyne, left-hand side, swirling ball towards the far post. It's Gundogan with a volley. Didn't catch it with any real venom, and dropping to his left to catch it down low in front of the City fans, behind the goal away to our right was the goalkeeper Alisson, and City managed to force the first real shot on target, Stuart.
Yeah, it was an absolute magnificent ball into the box. Curl, keeping it away from the goalkeeper, and the movement, timing of the run, magnificent as well.
Good from Liverpool. Looking to play Beckham. Canati giving the ball away too easy. But Liverpool looking to build. You know, they want to try and build and beat the press of Man City. Good ball again from De Bruyne, cutting in with that left foot. You know, can see anything on the pitch.
And what Liverpool have done in big games is turn up under Jurgen Klopp. United, a prime example of that. They lost more Premier League games this season to teams starting the day in the Champions League places, and then they have against teams in the relegation zone under the German. It's fascinating listening to Jurgen Klopp talk about what he thought was needed today against Manchester City, and one of the key facets was don't forget to play your football. You've got to be able to defend well and be resolute, but you've got to play when you get the opportunity.
Absolutely. You know, there's top players in this Liverpool side. You know, they have to come and play. They have to go and show why. You know, they've been such a good team over the years, and at times if you get it right against Man City and you pick that first pass off, then you get opportunities.
Alisson under pressure from Mahrez, kicks right down the middle of the pitch. It's not an accurate pass, and it's easy for Akanji to pick off. They haven't got one of those right so far, those quick releases through the middle or either down the sides. It is very much a 4-2-3-1 from Liverpool, with Gakpo in behind Salah as the main point man. Here is Ruben Diaz bringing the ball out of defence. And then Rodri clips it forward to De Bruyne, who flicks it behind Robertson, and Mahrez takes it on into the penalty area. Henderson comes across, De Bruyne goes on the outside, crossed into the box, headed away by Van Dijk, then picked up by Mahrez, who sends it back to Rodri, edge of the area, right-footed shot, rifles it straight into the arms of the goalkeeper Alisson. What a chance.
Yeah, it certainly was. Robertson committed to try and win the header from De Bruyne, then he realised he was going to be 2 yards short, so certain unscrupulous fullbacks would have probably just carried on and cleared the lot out, but he put himself out the game, and that put Mahrez in behind him.
The good thing for Robertson is that Mahrez doesn't really want to go on the outside, so he can always he needs to show him on the outside. He always wants to come back on his left foot a lot, but that overlap there from De Bruyne, and unfortunately the Van Dijk was at the front post. Good defending from him.
0-0. Talksport with Joshua Franklin a little bit later on today, live on the network, 9 o'clock on Talksport. Before that, we're on Talksport 2. Right now on Talksport 2, Luton 0, Watford 0 is the latest scoreline. We'll keep you updated with Preston Blackpool in the Championship and Bradford Grimsby, which kicks off in around about 18 minutes' time. Manchester United leading away at Brighton in the WSL. Here is Robertson. On the left is Harvey Elliott, just drifted out towards this near side now. Liverpool in possession, they're in Manchester City territory. Elliott back to Virgil van Dijk, and he sends it long towards the far side. Let's go off to deep down and get a goal which has gone in for Graham Beecroft.
Yes, it's got in, and it's gone in the favour of Preston North End. It was a cross from the left-hand side. They didn't deal with it, the Blackpool defence. It went out to Brad Potts, and Potts, right-footed, blasted the ball across the face of the goalkeeper and into the back of the net. Preston North End 1, Blackpool 0.
Leah Galton's 7th goal of the season is dividing Manchester United and Brighton down on the south coast in the WSL, a game that kicked off at 11:30 this morning. And this game kicked off at 12:30 without Erling Haaland in the squad today for Manchester City. Darwin Núñez, 2 big money number 9s for these 2 big heavy-hitting clubs. Both not involved from the start today. Núñez only on the bench. Rodri winning the ball, played in by De Bruyne out towards the left channel, and it's found by Gundogan. Then further on wide towards Grealish, who attacks the penalty area, comes inside on his right foot, lays it off to De Bruyne, edge of the area, clips it into the box. It's straight at Virgil van Dijk and then cleared away. Given away on the edge of the box, and that's a foul by Jordan Henderson just outside the area, and it's going to be a free kick to Manchester City. And it was a little bit clumsy, that.
I just wish Jack Grealish would have a shot at times. He does brilliant 1v1, comes inside and wants to lay it off. Go and have a shot and express yourself, have a bit of authority in your play.
Just looking at that free kick again, I'm not so sure. Henderson's infuriated by it.
Conned him a little bit, isn't he, to Kevin De Bruyne, but
he certainly has.
Great opportunity.
Well, it is in a brilliant area for a strike at goal.
Well, I don't think Jurgen Klopp and his assistants are too happy about the award of this free kick, and Graham Scott, who is the 4th official, is getting the full force of their ire. There is a free kick, though, to Manchester City, and stalking the touchline just behind Jurgen Klopp is a very nervy-looking Pep Guardiola, who stood right at the front of it, then marched back to his seat, had a quick word with his assistant, and watched on as Diaz, De Bruyne and Mahrez set up this set piece. Now,
Harvey Elliott's looking good in there, isn't he?
Laying down behind a 5-man wall, having a bit of a rest.
But I was going to say a suntan, but sunbathing, but there's no sun in Manchester now.
Yeah, it's just gone behind the clouds. 14 minutes gone. It's been a hectic start to the game. It's still 0-0. De Bruyne will step up, right-footed, leave it for Mahrez, who curls it round the wall and just beyond the far corner. I mean, it was looked like a missile coming off the boot of the Algerian, curled at a beautiful height. It must have been about, 30 centimetres outside the post, if that?
It was really, really tight, but I tell you what, he got an ooh, but I think it's quite a disappointing effort. I think you've got to hit the target.
You've got to hit the target, especially when De Bruyne runs over it. You've got that side of the goal. Go and make the goalkeeper work and see what happens.
Stones and Gakpo wrestling for the ball. Stones wins it. Rodri crunched from behind by Van Dijk, and then he stares down at Rodri as Rodri gets back to his feet. Manchester City rush and win the ball back. De Bruyne gets in, and then Fabinho comes across and nabs it, and now Elliott looks to charge on the turnover. Over the halfway line he goes. He plays it down the right for Salah. Salah into the penalty area. Ake's backpedaling. He cuts in left-footed, drives the ball forward. It's cut out, comes back to Salah, then on to Elliott, who again drives the ball towards the near post, blocked by Ake, and it ricochets towards the far side, and it's out for a throw-in.
I just think there's occasion where Liverpool have turned the ball over in a defensive area and they think they've got to play intricate and tight and short, and they've gambled with the ball a little bit, and they've got to be careful doing that.
At times, just go and flip it in behind. Have a race, have that front three and see what Man City have got. You know, especially with the pace and the distances covered from Man City. Go and put it in behind and make them work and see what they can do with it.
Manchester City 0, Liverpool 0 on Talksport. And we're with Now Sports. Don't forget, with Now Sports you can stream all the Sky Sports action like Chelsea versus Aston Villa live today for $11.99. No contract. Search Now Sports. Alisson under pressure from Alvarez, plays out well into Fabinho who's left out the Brazil squad. Ball tossed over the top by Alexander-Arnold, and Jota maybe onside here. Akanji coming from his blind side. Jota holds the ball up well, turns, gives it to Salah, who cracks it in from the edge of the area and puts Liverpool in front. And Jurgen Klopp's side have stunned Manchester City with their first shot on goal in the game. They've turned up the temperature and turned down the noise. Manchester City stunned. Salah with yet another goal against them. It's the 4th time this season that he's scored against Manchester City, and that could be a massive goal.
Well, that was the ball over the top that we're talking about, and this is really, really close for an offside goal. I think he's just onside. And Salah's done brilliantly, backed him up superbly, and he's missed a few of those curlers into the far corner this season, but he weren't going to miss that one.
VAR is checking the offside in the build-up to the goal. It is very tight on the halfway line. Both Jota and Akanji are within millimetres of one another. If Jota has just strayed, this goal will be disallowed. If he hasn't, then Liverpool are going to be given the lead in this match. It looks to me like he's onside, Charlie.
Yeah, no, it's great. Akanji's too far over. His distance is too big between him and Diaz.
Goal.
And it's a great ball from like we said about before. Instead of playing short, sometimes go and play long, a little bit in behind and see what it does. The distance was far too big, and it's a great finish from Mo Salah.
It's his 4th goal of the season against Manchester City. He scored against them in the Community Shield, the League Cup, and home and away now. And that is some achievement. The last player in the Premier League to score against the club in 4 different games in the same season was Romelu Lukaku for Everton against West Ham in 2014-15. The last Liverpool player to score in 4 games against a team in one campaign was Ian Rush, who scored in 5 meetings with Everton in 1986-1987. Salah, the scourge of City once again. And Liverpool lead away by a goal to 0, and they haven't done that very often this season. Their away record so far this campaign is worse than Southampton's and Leicester City's.
Great aggressive play from Van Dijk, going and getting in that pocket with Alvarez and pushing him off the ball, and then Henderson playing that next pass into Gakpo to get turned and get buying a foul.
Big start to the game at the Etihad Stadium in Manchester, where Manchester City, going for the title, are behind to Liverpool. And Salah holding onto the ball over on the far side, kicks the ball away under pressure from Ake, and Simon Hooper, the referee, is going to take action here.
Yeah, just his reaction there. Salah not too happy with that. Kicked the ball away, threw his arm in the air. I don't mind if you get booked for something like that. It's a show of dissent, as long as there's a consistency, because you know and I know later in the game
that is not happening back again.
That there might well be an opportunity where he doesn't book someone for a similar type of offence.
He has booked Mo Salah, who has scored the only goal of this game. It's Manchester City 0, Liverpool 1, live on Talksport at the beginning of Showdown Saturday. Elsewhere, games going on up and down the country in the Championship, where it is Luton 0, Watford 0 over on Talksport. Ian Dante, your commentator for that huge game, that huge rivalry between those two teams. Preston 1, Blackpool 0 is the latest scoreline also in the Championship today. And Manchester United's women lead by a goal to 0 in the WSL away from home against Brighton.
I've just got to bring this to the fore at this moment in time. They talk about team selection, that type of thing. You look what Klopp's done today, put Salah in the middle of the pitch. It might have bore fruit already.
Jota out wide to Robertson. Robertson trying to steer the ball in towards that near post, but he got it wrong and flipped it straight into the arms of Ederson. It's bowled out into Gundogan, and immediately they're told to go forward by the Etihad crowd, Manchester City, but they don't quite go forward with any real purpose or tempo. They show a bit more patience than that, and it's still only 15 yards outside their own penalty area. They're trailing by 1-0. Mo Salah with goal number 23 of the season.
Brilliant patience from Liverpool. 4-2-4, just waiting for Man City, not allowing them any space through the middle, but now they've found the space there.
Up into Alvarez, back to De Bruyne, who sends it wide to Grealish. Grealish moves towards the edge of the penalty area, clips it over the top. De Bruyne's going to get there, into Gundogan. Oh, it's behind the striker, Alvarez, and evaded Mahrez and trickled through the 6-yard box and out the other side. It was well worked, that, from Manchester City. Brilliant little move, picked up by De Bruyne, who meandered out to the left-hand side, brought Grealish into play, and Gundogan had another good chance. He's had two of their 3 best chances of the game so far. You're listening to Talksport. Manchester City 0, Liverpool 1. Ake has it in the left full-back position. Stretching to reach it was Grealish in the left wing position, finding De Bruyne. Helped on towards Mahrez, back post. He smashes it goalwards. It's over the top of the crossbar. Again, he should find the target.
Yeah, it's a big chance. Big chance. Brilliant from De Bruyne. A little cross outside the foot. Goes by Alvarez. He's got to at least hit the target. But he blasts over, and big opportunity for Man City there.
I think he's a bit flippant with his efforts there. He's had the free kick on the edge of the box, which I think is an absolute perfect opportunity to work the goalie, and that opportunity as well, he just come onto it, hit it quite flippantly instead of concentrating and making sure he hits the target.
Well, that's a great opportunity. Manchester United have taken a 2-0 lead in the WSL against Brighton. They're certainly looking to try and extend their lead at the top. Brighton struggling at the bottom of the table, fighting in a relegation battle with Leicester City. But it's going to be Manchester United and Mark Skinner and his team who walk away with the points. Ake, Rodri into Alvarez, and now they're in the midpoint of the Liverpool half, now sweeping the ball to the right to Mahrez. Mahrez moves into the area. It's blocked by Robertson. Good defending by the Scotsman, and it's cleared away out to Jota on this near side. I must admit, I thought Jota's hold-up play for the goal was terrific. The way he held the ball up when he was under severe pressure from Akanji to protect it, drag other members of staff up alongside him, and then when Salah was arriving, he teed it up nicely for him, and that was 1-0.
It was. I don't know whether he was half-angling for a penalty being pulled back once he got inside the box, but he done enough to keep the City defender away from the ball.
Henderson in the centre circle with Liverpool leading by 1-0. Bounds forward and plays it wide on to Diogo Jota. Jota now approaching the penalty area. Back to Henderson. Henderson to Elliott. Elliott pops the ball in towards Cody Gakpo. Goalkeeper came out. Wasn't too sure about it. Offside flag came out. And there was a little bit of confusion amongst that City defence once again. Cody Gakpo, tall and gangly, but very agile, moving into an offside position as the ball was popped in by Elliott. Yeah. And as a result of that, it's a free kick to Manchester City.
Good play from Liverpool. Jota coming inside, and Elliott just trying to probably looking to play a 1-2 with Salah, and it missed it, but good line from Man City. Pushed up, allowed Gakpo still in the offside position, and they obviously got the foul.
.24 gone, and De Bruyne has sent the ball forward for Alvarez to chase. Konate is having a much easier day, I think, today than he was maybe expecting, with no Haaland in the team. Brushes him aside rather easily. I mean, Konate looks absolutely huge up against Alvarez today. That wouldn't have been the case if he'd had to come up against the other fella. Here's De Bruyne out towards the far side. Grealish into the box now, left angle of it, right on the postage stamp of the penalty area. Gives it back to Ake and then turns infield. He's under pressure from Elliott. Ake again slides the ball into that corner. All very tight down the left side for Manchester City. Grealish trying to open things up. A little ball into De Bruyne. Look for the return. Didn't quite get there. Fabinho hacks it away. It's out for a throw on the near side. It's currently Manchester City 0, Liverpool 1. Here are the latest odds from Betfair, the official betting partner of Talksport's Premier League coverage, where right now you can get Manchester City to win the game at 17-2, Liverpool to win at 7-5, and you can back the draw at 5-2. It's all thanks to Betfair. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org. Here's Charlie Adam.
Yeah, Liverpool. Jurgen's gone mad that Pep Lijnders here because there's too many spaces now appearing in that midfield between Fabinho and Henderson, and Alvarez and De Bruyne are getting a lot of space and being able to play little passes. So something they have to try and get together. not jump from their slot and stick the distances at the right gaps.
Grealish, who's happy to carry the ball down that left-hand side, meanders in field, gives it back to Ake, in turn plays it centrally to Stones, and then Akanji midway inside the Liverpool half gives it to Gundogan. Out wide it goes now. It's picked up by Mahrez, slides the ball in towards the near post, took a little deflection, goes out for a corner, will go off to Preston, where there's been another goal for Talksport's Graham Beecroft.
And it's another goal for Preston North End. They lead by 2-0 against Blackpool, and it came from Ben Whiteman after the referee originally hesitated but then finally gave a free kick 25 yards from goal. Ben Whiteman raced up, took it and hit it low into the corner to beat Maxwell. Preston North End 2, Blackpool 0.
Back here, De Bruyne's corner is headed clear, and it's picked up by Elliott, who sent Mo Salah away. He's got Jota in support. He's tried to square it, but Jack Grealish had got back, help out defensively, and stopped the ball from being squared towards the far side, and stopped a certain Liverpool goal. Stuart Pearce.
He's probably saved the game for his team, Grealish. Magnificent. I've got to say, he's run the length of the pitch in recovery and just got a toe on a crossfield pass that was a tap-in. Brilliant defending by Grealish.
But Pep will be thinking, why has that happened? Why has it happened from a set play? Why are we not organised enough? So something they have to look at. Keep saying about Liverpool, the speed they got in that front area for the transition is massive, and nearly another opportunity. But fair play to Grealish, running hard to get back and save his team.
Well, Manchester City trying to close the gap to Arsenal at the top of the Premier League table. Liverpool trying to improve. A record on the road, and certainly is open to scrutiny. Here's Mahrez trying to scrutinise Van Dijk, plays it into Gundogan, turns it around the corner. Grealish is the centre. Alvarez is there to arrive and equalise inside the 6-yard box. It's another assist for Jack Grealish. It's another goal for Julian Alvarez. City responding style, and it's 1-1. Erling Haaland in a box above us celebrates. He goes mad. He can't influence proceedings on the pitch. He's certainly a big supporter of it today, and Manchester City have come from behind to level things up at the Etihad.
Yeah, a lot of good that's coming is coming from these wide areas, certainly Grealish. And it was that man Robertson again. I talked earlier about him missing a header, stepping out his slot. As soon as he stepped forward and the ball was beyond him, there was a problem. It was like a deck of cards after that.
Yeah, brilliant play from Man City. De Bruyne rolling out, Robertson jumping from the slot and then playing into the opposite pocket other side, and it's a great ball, great composure from Grealish, just cut across the goal, and Alvarez there as a number 9 just stick it in the back of the net. 1-1. But that changes, for if Grealish doesn't make that run, it could have been 2-0. All of a sudden 2 minutes later it becomes 1-1.
Well, Jack Grealish made the goal after saving a goal, and Julian Alvarez, in for the injured Erling Haaland, has managed to jab Manchester City back into contention in this game.
Why City and Liverpool were about to take that centre. I'm just looking at Pep's body language. He's talking to Diaz, and basically what he's saying is, when they come tight on Grealish, put it in behind them. Keep putting it in behind Trent Alexander, and he's telling Diaz that.
But that you've got to. We say that Man City, they play nice football, they want to build that. But if there's an opportunity to turn the team and put it in a foot race, if there's a high line, absolutely you've got to go. You've got to do it, and that's an opportunity you got at the back of Trent Alexander.
Pep Guardiola's record against Jurgen Klopp isn't great. 27 meetings. Klopp has won more of them than he has lost, although it's only 12-10. They've clashed in England and in Germany, one at Bayern and at Dortmund. And after what was a stunning start from Liverpool, City, who just started to get a grip on the game and find those spaces in midfield, have got themselves back into it before the half-hour mark. Manchester City 1, Liverpool 1. And you're listening to Talksport live at the Etihad Stadium. The clouds have gone gathering overhead since the start of the game. We had beautiful sunshine when we walked in here today. It's a little bit more gloomy now, and Liverpool might be in for a longer afternoon than maybe they were hoping. The ball picked up by Mahrez down the right. He skates towards the edge of the area. It opens up in front of him. He plays the ball down into the middle of the penalty area, but it was just a little bit delayed from Mahrez, and that didn't allow Alvarez to latch onto it.
Yeah, he does all the hard work. He goes and dribbles by 3 or 4 players. Have a shot. You're 18 yards, 19 yards out. Test the goalkeeper. See what he's got. But he goes and tries that little pass and overhits it.
Rodri has won the ball back and he's giving it to Alvarez inside the area. Now Mahrez on the turn inside the box, goes down. Referee looks over at the linesman, but the offside flag is up already. Luton 1, Watford 0 is the latest scoreline from the Championship. Luton haven't given up hope of automatic promotion, but a win will go a long way to securing at least a playoff place in the Championship. Watford surprisingly didn't sack a manager in the international break. Chris Wilder gets an opportunity to take charge of a 4th game. And as Ian Dante was saying on this programme a little bit earlier, he's had one of each so far, but this is a huge one in that region. And that continues over on Talksport 2, which you can get via our app. And you might want to download that because over April we've got 50 live games. This is the first of over 50 live football matches, more than anybody else during the month of April. And they're not just little matches, they include Manchester City against Arsenal, which may be a title decider. Massive games in the Champions League. Stuart and I have got our bags packed, passports ready for a trip to Munich, haven't we, for the Champions League?
Yeah, there is some special games this month, my friend.
And next weekend we'll be at Manchester United versus Everton. And Monday night, huge, Everton against Tottenham is live and only here. There's EFL games and FA Cup matches to come as well. The semi-finals of the men's and women's FA Cup going to be live on Talksport and Talksport 2. All you need to do is get our app, download it. You've got access to both stations. Here's Gundogan out towards the left-hand side. Manchester City 1, Liverpool 0 on Talksport. City bring it down the left. It's with Ake and then Grealish and then into Gundogan, who turns it into De Bruyne, who looks to turn and play it back out towards the left. Almost found Grealish with the pass, but Trent Alexander-Arnold just dropped in and managed to steer it clear. Liverpool getting back into shape and clearing up through the middle, looking for Jota, and then Rodri, who's had a couple of those pullbacks, has been penalised with a yellow card.
Yeah, good quality from Liverpool on the ball. You know, just working their way out of a bit of trouble, and Jota getting in the half turn and Rodri pulling them back. But it's been a good first half so far.
I'm just watching Liverpool, and Liverpool done well there playing out, but I just think there's a couple of percent missing of confidence, real confidence, playing through with real cutting edge. I just feel as though they've gambled with the ball on a few occasions in this first half, in and around the edge of their box, and that can be a dangerous thing to do against this side.
They are a team that when things are going well, things are going well, and they look pretty confident, but they are also a team that as soon as things start to go against them, Stuart, they lose their heads just a little bit. It's something that Jurgen Klopp said yesterday in his press conference was, you know, as soon as we go 1-0 down, I don't like the reaction, and conceding here has cost them as well here. Konate's just slipped, De Bruyne's picked it up, Alvarez has continued the run. He's in the centre of the opposition half. He plays it wide to Mahrez, who gets into the box. A right-footed ball towards the far post. There was no one at the back post to convert the chance, and it's cleared away by Konate. Back out to the left it comes, and Jota this time will bring it clear. He plays it into Gakpo. Half-hearted challenge from Akanji, and then a push in the back by Rodri. He's just had a yellow card. The Liverpool fans and the Liverpool players are surrounding the referee over on the far side now and being rather vocal about trying to get Rodri sent off here.
Well, a couple of things there. Firstly, the last attack on Liverpool's goal, another giveaway in their own half, which is a real dangerous thing to do. And secondly, the referee's just booked him for a very, very similar offence. Maybe not as clear-cut, this one.
It's a foul. I don't think it's a yellow card. I think it's not, as like Stuart says, not clear cut as the last one, but he's got to watch himself, Rodri. Now he's in the eye of the referee. You know that he's made that second foul, so they'll have to watch with that. But I'd just like to see Liverpool just turn the game a little bit more and just go and put it in a race to see how that back three defend.
Sorry, Charlie, you've almost got to change the laws of the game to represent exactly where the game is at the moment. That probably, I think that deserves something like a 10 minutes in the sin bin offence.
But if that was his first attempt, like he never had that last one for the book, he'd have been booked for that.
Indeed. So this is my whole point about Salah earlier.
So should he have been sent off?
if the referee sent him off, the referee could quite comfortably look in the cameras at the end of the game and say, I've got to go to the letter of the law.
Yeah.
And you've got to back the referees. But the one thing we don't want to happen is this game hinge on a sending off, because it's such a good game for all of us to watch and a great spectacle.
10 minutes to go before half-time. Rodri did not get sent off. He has been booked. He's not the only one. Salah's on a yellow card. I think maybe the Manchester City players might still be looking at early action from Fabinho and wondering why he hasn't got into the referee's notebook. The ball is elevated out to the left. Grealish into De Bruyne. Lovely turn away from Henderson onto the left edge of the area where Gundogan is straight offside, and that's going to be a free kick to Liverpool on the edge of their own box. And Jurgen Klopp getting rather frustrated in his black tracksuit with big puffer jacket coming down below his waist. Bright red trainers. He's rather exercised there. Liverpool play out from the back as they look to move up the pitch. 1-1 on Talksport. 9 minutes to go before half-time. Henderson plays it across to Konate, just in front of the 18-yard box. It goes back to Alisson. Alisson out wide. Konate once again has it. And then Alisson will kick through the middle of the pitch, or will he hold on to it? He's going to hold on to it here and then play it into Fabinho, get it back again. They're confident on the ball, Liverpool. Now he'll kick it long.
I'm glad he did that. It's 2v2 at the back.
Flick on by Jota. In behind is Salah, running against Ake. Ake appealing for offside. He's not going to get that. Still Salah has it. At the back post is Cody Gakpo, but Stones was there to watch the ball as it came trickling across the 6-yard box. Oh, but Trent Alexander-Arnold has won it back again. He's sent it into the centre, away by Nathan Ake, picked up by Grealish far side, and then he's fouled over on that far touchline by Trent Alexander-Arnold. It's going to be a free kick. There was a little bit of afters by Trent Alexander-Arnold. Grealish down, clutching his face, and it's going to be a free kick to Manchester City down by the corner flag.
That all just comes by Alisson realising that Diaz has tried to jump into midfield, and it leaves it 2v2 at the back. When it's 2v2 or 3v3 at the back, put it long and make it in the chair. Yeah, just a little bit of a clash. There's nothing in that, is there?
Well, after stepping over Grealish to appeal his innocence, he accidentally kicked him in the side of the head, didn't he?
Well, to be honest with you, I think Grealish has gone down very cheaply to start with. That's incensed Trent Alexander, and it's just a side of the game I don't think is necessary. I really do.
Manchester City 1, Liverpool 1 on Talksport with Car Finance 24/7. Search Car Finance 24/7 today.
You say you spoke earlier about Liverpool played out with supreme confidence. I don't think they are. I think they're passing to each other without a set plan of what we're trying to achieve to cut through. When I see Man City passing through the thirds, I see a plan.
Yeah, there is a plan.
Not with Liverpool, I don't.
Alvarez down the left.
Is that confidence?
Trying to touch it into Grealish. Another foul this time by Trent Alexander-Arnold. He's now the object of the crowd's ire. Jurgen Klopp is furious. Simon Hooper is taking him away towards the far touchline. There was another foul on Grealish by Trent Alexander-Arnold. I'm not sure, he wasn't booked for the first challenge at the other end of the pitch. And it doesn't look like he's going to be booked for this one either. They have given away a free kick in a dead ball area, which Kevin De Bruyne is quite excited by. His eyes always seem to light up in these scenarios. It's wide on the far side, a yard in from the touchline. And there are, 4, 5 light blue jerseys inside the area for him to aim at, including Akanji and Rodri at the back post. Mahrez is going to take it. It's a low one, which is steered away by Robertson, and it's pushed out on the far side and away for a corner. Well, there's more argy-bargy going on inside the penalty area. Henderson is getting in the face of Akanji. Akanji being protected by one or two of his teammates. Henderson being pushed away. And it is flaring up. There usually is a little bit of afters during these matches. There is an intense rivalry. It's one of the reasons why Manchester City, because of trouble that has actually happened between the fans, which certainly we don't want to see, have reduced the ticket allocation for Liverpool today to well below 3,000, which is what they were getting pre-pandemic. They're certainly not getting that now. It's about 2,590, I think I saw at last count.
Yeah, just a bit of coming together in that set play there, but Jordan, I don't want to be getting involved with Akanji, do you? I don't think he needs anybody to help him.
Here is the corner kick for Manchester City. Mahrez over on the far side. And there again is 5 or 6 to aim at in blue. Liverpool have to be on their mettle here as the ball's delivered towards Ruben Diaz, away by Van Dijk. Grealish went to shoot, decided against it, plays it wide towards the left, and then it's De Bruyne under pressure, clipping the ball into an area which several Manchester City players are chasing. It's half clear, but back to Grealish, edge of the area, skates forward now, stops the ball, rolls it back to Rodri, left side of the box, under pressure from Henderson. Now Akanji. They're still on the attack here, Manchester City. 1-1 the score on Talksport. Mahrez wide on the left. He's got a bit of an overload on that far side. Sends the cross in. Van Dijk away, picked up by Jota, straight through the middle up to Gakpo, but De Bruyne stops them from going any further. And then Salah receives the second ball from Henderson, who just intervened at the right time. Jurgen Klopp's on the pitch. He's getting so animated down in front of us.
Yeah, he's not happy. The switch was on here to Trent Alexander. Once the opportunity was to come out the other side, and he kept playing it the same way. But you know, he's animated on this touchline, Klopp.
Up to Elliott it goes. Akanji steals it in front of Jota. Henderson gets there first, clips it over the top. Diaz was watching. Elliott picks up the second ball. Salah wide on the right. We're not sure whether he was offside or not. Salah into the edge of the area. Elliott now looking to strike, blocked by Gundogan. Goes out on the far side. Eventually the flag goes up, but that's a good sort of 20-30 seconds after the initial offence took place, which is why the crowd aren't happy about it. Stuart Pearce.
Well, the frustration that managers have in the technical area, the players have, the supporters have. The lines officials are that good at their job. They know whether they're offside, and they get it right 99% of the time. He knew he was offside then, but they've been given a law of the game where they've got to wait for the attack to fizzle out before they put their flag up, and it just frustrates the life out of everyone.
Remember, Haaland missing today. No Foden with a removed appendix, is going to be absent for a couple of weeks as well. Nunez on the bench for Liverpool. He may well still have a say in this game as it goes on. And the other two aren't involved for Manchester City today. 3 minutes before half-time, a hotly contested first 45 minutes, 1-1 live on Talksport, with Anthony Joshua's comeback fight coming up live and exclusive on Talksport a little bit later on. 7 o'clock start Talksport 2, and then we're on Talksport at 9 o'clock with Adam Catterall and the gang. The main event very much going to have all the eyes of the nation on it tonight, and all the ears of the Talksport listeners. And if you want to get Talksport 2, you can flick between the two stations via our app rather easily. Bradford have taken the lead in their game in League 2 against Grimsby. And elsewhere, Luton still lead against Watford on Talksport 2. Preston in control against Blackpool. Manchester United taking the points away at Brighton in the WSL, and it's all square here. Ball clipped forward by Diaz, out towards the right side. Mahrez with a lovely touch into the area. He's being backed up by De Bruyne. He helps it out to Gundogan. A great stop by Fabinho. It comes out to the near side. Offside flag up against Kevin De Bruyne.
Yeah, it's a great switch of play there from Diaz out to Mahrez, but to Mahrez, I'd like him to try and go on the outside at some point. You know, you've always come on the inside and there, and yeah, he rolls it to Gundogan, but and Fabinho blocks it, but go try on the outside, see what Robertson does. You know, he might dangle a leg and you might get a foul, but at the moment he just keeps wanting to come on the inside. I know it's a strong side, but mix your game up.
We've just seen two contrasting decisions by the lines people today. One at this end where he's clearly offside and he's not flagged, and one at the other end there that was so marginal you thought, that's really tight, and he flagged straight away, and that's the confusion for a lot of people.
Ake has it on the far side and moves it up towards the halfway line into Rodri, who steers it over to Jack Grealish. Grealish to Rodri again. We're about to get details of the allotted time at the end of the first 45. Mahrez, though, has released De Bruyne. Across comes Virgil van Dijk, and De Bruyne, I think, spotted the run of Virgil van Dijk, tried to release the ball early. It came off the big Netherlands captain, and the Belgian captain then bellowed at the ball boy to get the ball tucked into him so he could get things moving pretty quickly. He has it right side by the corner flag, plays it against Robertson. It's going to be a City corner away to our right-hand side. Kevin De Bruyne, who captained Belgium to a victory earlier in the week over Germany in the game that they won. He scored the winner in. good start to his life as the new Red Devils, the other Red Devils captain.
He's been a hell of a player here, hasn't he? You know, the disappointment of what happened at Chelsea.
2 minutes of added time at the end of the first 45. That's the loftiest cross towards the far post for Rodri, who tries to steer it goalwards from the corner from Mahrez, but it takes a deflection, I think, off of a blue shirt and goes behind and away for a goal kick. 2 minutes of added time have been allotted. I mean, the initial idea was sort of, I suppose, to release Rodri at that far post, but the shot cannon off the backside, I think, of Akanji, Stuart Pearce.
Yeah, well, Akanji done really well. He blocked Trent, so Trent couldn't get beyond him to get to Rodri, but what he done, as soon as he's blocked Trent, he stayed in that vicinity and took the ball up the backside himself.
Ball cleared away by Alisson, and then Jota manages to keep Liverpool in possession. Robertson goes back to his goalkeeper. It has been a really intriguing first 45 minutes, and you can see why these two teams have been battling out at the top of the table over the course of the last few years. Liverpool, I'm sure, when they look back at this tape, they'll be thinking, yeah, if we could only have been a little bit more consistent, especially away from home, we would have been up there and fighting for it again this campaign.
Yeah, inconsistency has been Liverpool's biggest problem this season, and you know, it's if buts and maybes. That, you know, you're here and now, you're there for a reason. You know, 6 points behind, 2 games in hand, and if they can get something out of this, can really help them, you know, for this big week that they've got coming up, playing Chelsea and Arsenal.
Yeah, massive week for Liverpool, a massive month and a bit for Manchester City as Grealish gets away from Konate, but there was a little flick by Grealish and a foul given as a result of that. Gundogan now chasing over on the far side has turned the ball over, and that's well, it looked like a foul initially, but Gundogan has got away with it, and Trent Alexander-Arnold eventually got lucky as the ball came back to him over on the far side. And Liverpool just a little bit rattled as they attempted to play out. Alisson gives through the middle up towards Henderson, and the half-time whistle will be blown by Simon Hooper, the referee. Well, Manchester City are desperate to narrow the gap to the leaders Arsenal prior to their game against Leeds at 3 o'clock this afternoon, but unless things change in the second half, that gap at the moment is only going to get bigger. Liverpool went in front, Mo Salah with the goal. They could have gone 2-0 in front if it hadn't been for some great defending from Jack Grealish, who then immediately turned provider to give Julian Alvarez an equaliser in the 28th minute, which means at the break it's all square. Manchester City 1, Liverpool 1. What a fabulous first 45.
Sam Matterface, thank you very much. Fabulous first 45 indeed. It definitely has lived up to all its billing, hasn't it? We were hoping for a megawatt clash today at the Etihad. I feel like we're certainly seeing that, particularly with the way Salah was able to score early, caused a bit of nerves and ripples here at the Etihad, and then Manchester City came back into it. Jack Grealish has been immense, hasn't he, Stuart Pearce?
He is a brilliant outlet to the ball. He never gives the ball away. As Charlie touched on earlier, I'd like to see him when he does come inside, which he does very often, open the goal up and have a shot if he can, or look for little 1-2s and get one back to shoot. From Liverpool's point of view, what I would say is be careful. If they're going to lose the game, lose it by a great piece of play by City. Don't lose the game by giving the ball away cheaply in your own half of the pitch. And there's been a couple of warning signs for me today on that. But certainly I see the wide areas in Mahrez and Grealish being the key to City unlocking Liverpool.
Yeah, do you agree with that in terms of Liverpool just sort of, I suppose, losing focus at times?
Yeah, exactly. And the thing about Jack Grealish, when he was at Aston Villa, he could have went and roamed and got on the ball. At Man City, he's got to respect his position. He's got to stay high and wide to keep that defence back there for allowing other players to make runs from midfield. So it's a different part of his game. But like Stu said, when he comes inside and he dribbles 1v1, you know, there's no better player in the country, but he has to do something. He has to go and have a shot. Can he go and link with a striker and go again? At times he comes into the space and then just rolls it off to somebody else. Like, I want to see him go and open, have a shot. Mahrez on this side comes inside his left and then does nothing really about it, instead of maybe delivering a cross or something like that. I'd want to see Mahrez sometimes go on the outside and then hang a cross up and play cat and mouse with Andy Robertson, see if he's got it in him, because he might dangle a leg because you think, oh, he's gone the opposite way, and try and get a foul or a free kick penalty or whatever. But it's a fascinating game. Both teams, like Stuart said, Liverpool keep turning the ball over too much for the quality they have.
Mahrez really did actually have a few gilt-edged opportunities as well. Stuart Pearce, is Rodri lucky to stay on the pitch?
Well, he got booked, and rightly so, for a very cheap foul. It's lazy defending. Player gets the wrong side here, and there's an expectation in the game. Commentators like ourselves turn around and say it's a good foul. A foul's bad play. End of. He's got himself booked, and on the back of that, he's committed a similar type of offence. And if the referee brandished another yellow and sent him off, I don't think there could be too many complaints.
You couldn't argue with it. Yeah, so it seems like they are lucky to be with 11 men.
I think Rodri's sickened. If he hadn't been booked, he would have been booked for that foul. So, in all, he should have been sent off. It's a foul. It's a yellow card, but inconsistency again in the game. And listen, it's we don't want players sent off for the sake of it, but 11v11 is a great game, and hopefully the second half can be much more of the same.
Well, Manchester City then riding their luck with Rodri still on the pitch. Liverpool seemingly riding their luck as well. It is currently 1-1 between these two sides. Manchester City 1, Liverpool 1 at half-time. Over on Talksport 2, it's Luton 1, Watford 0, and it's also half-time at Deepdale in the game between Preston and Blackpool. And here's Talksport's Graham Beecroft.
Preston 2, Blackpool 0. North End have been significantly the better team. They had early appeals for a penalty turned down when Cannon was tackled awkwardly, but they took the lead with a goal about which there was no debate. The Seasiders failed to deal with a left-wing cross. The ball went through to Brad Potts, who was beyond the far post, and he drilled it right-footed into the far side of the netting for 1-0. Number 2 was a superb right-footed free kick low into the left-hand corner of the goal by Ben Whiteman. Anderson hit the post for the visitors at 0-0, but apart from that, Blackpool have shown precious little. Preston 2, Blackpool 0.
Graham Beecroft, thank you very much indeed. Here at the Etihad, as I say, it's 1 goal apiece between Manchester City and Liverpool, a game that has lived up to its huge billing. We were certainly giving it some, and it's certainly living up to that. Really enjoying it here at the Etihad. A huge 45 minutes is coming up next, because really, when you look at these sides' ambitions for the rest of the season, City looking to close the gap on Arsenal at the top. Liverpool trying to claim a place in the top 4. A win is really all that matters. Let's see what happens in the next 45 minutes. That's up next.
Game day exclusive on Talksport with Car Finance 24/7. Get your finance sorted first, then choose your car. Search Car Finance 24/7 today.
Hello, my friend. Life comes at you fast, so make time for you time with Just Eat. For early times, lunch times, late times, strange times. The perfect times for the McDonald's Sausage and Egg McMuffin, Five Guys Cheeseburger and Strawberry Shake, Domino's Pepperoni Passion, plus more from Costa Coffee, Creams Cafe and Pizza Express. So order now, later, in a bit, whenever. We got it.
Did somebody say Just Eat?
Product subject to availability in restaurant and serving times. Participating stores only. See justeat.co.uk for details.
Rodri to De Bruyne, flicked onto Walker. Goal! No one saw that coming.
Or as we say in Japan, no warutaka wa tsume o kakusu. The smart hawk hides its talents. For a taste beyond expected, Asahi Super Dry, official beer partners of Manchester City. Enjoy responsibly. Visit drinkaware.co.uk.
We all fantasize about our perfect home. Sipping a morning coffee out on the terrace. Good morning, Mr. Squirrel.
Morning.
The kids building a treehouse in the garden.
I'm living my perfect childhood.
But come on, this isn't real. Listen, if you're serious about making your fantasy a reality, find out what your home is worth instantly with a free online valuation estimate. Get real about moving. Get on the market. Most common time to obtain an online quote between 1st of June 2022 and 30th of September 2022 is under 3 minutes. Excludes Northern Ireland.
We've got it at Selco. Selco, it's where the trade goes.
At Selco Builders Warehouse, we've got real deals on a wide range of building products. In April, we've got 30% off the range of SAM-primed MDF skirting and architrave with a new and improved, brighter, whiter, smoother finish. And with free delivery, that's a real deal. Find more real deals online at selcobw.com.
We've got it at Selco. Selco, it's where the trade goes.
That charged at 20%. Free delivery within local delivery areas.
In sport, what's just as important as the goals, the glory, the roar of the crowd? Yes, it's the half-time break. Time for a breather, a reset, to keep everything on track. In sports betting, Betfair's safer gambling tools help you do that too. Like timeouts, so you take that all-important half-time break. Or deposit limits. to help you keep count. Manage your play at safergambling.betfair.com. Simple ways to stay on top of your game with Betfair.
18 plus begambleaware.org.
The new season is here, and The Times on Saturday has all the big interviews, insightful analysis, and stats you need to set you up for a perfect weekend of Premier League action. Subscribe today at thetimes.co.uk/football for provocative and compelling opinions from the best sports writers in the business, including James Gibbrandt, Owen Slott, and the voice of football, Henry Winter.
Lovely bit of football.
Try it free for 1 month at thetimes.co.uk/football. Auto renews at £26 a month unless cancelled. T's and C's apply.
And he's barrelled it straight through the midfield into the Village Hotel Pub and Grill fan zone, the home of big screen live football. A long volley over the stadium seats by the giant screens into the left-hand corner of the bar, past a winning lineup of ice-cold beers and a magnificent menu of mouth-watering footy food. Result! Enjoy the perfect big match experience with food, drink and live football at a Village Hotel Pub and Grill fan zone at 33 UK locations. Find your nearest venue and win monthly prizes, including match tickets at villagehotels.com/fanzone. Get in! Conditions apply. 18 plus, always drink responsibly.
Game day exclusive on Talksport with Now Sports. Stream all the Sky Sports action like Chelsea versus Aston Villa live today for $11.99. No contract. Search Now Sports 18 plus. Stream via internet. Terms apply.
Feel the passion and the pride of the Premier League.
Oh, it's a stunning goal!
Game day exclusive
on Talksport.
Hello there, this is Game Day exclusive on Talksport, live from the Etihad, where it is currently half-time in the Championship over on Talksport 2. It's also half-time at Kenilworth Road. It's Luton 1, Watford 0. Also in the Championship, it's Preston 2, Blackpool 0. In the WSL, Manchester United beat Brighton Women's 4-0 to stretch their lead at the top to 3 points. Here at the Etihad, it's Manchester City 1, Liverpool 1, and what a first half it has been. Let's get the latest from Betfair, shall we? The official betting partner of Talksport's Premier League coverage.
Game day on Talksport with Betfair. Get a hand from Betfair's popular bet builder and easily add our fan favourite football selections to your bet slip. Terms and conditions apply. See support.betfair.com. 18 plus begambleaware.org.
Sam Rossbottom from Betfair is alongside us here at the Etihad today. Also a Manchester City fan, of course, outing you there. But how's that first half gone for you?
Yeah, absolutely pulsating first half of football, that, wasn't it? I tell you what, if the Joshua fight is anything like that first half, then wow, that's going to be something as well. Look, the odds, Manchester City went out, obviously, when Liverpool got that goal, but they were still fancied, to be honest with you. They're now odds on again at 3-4 to win the game. Liverpool back out to 9-2 to go on and get the 3 points. They have been causing City a few issues on the counter-attack, haven't they? So that's going to be an interesting one to check out in the second half. The draw currently 2-1. I can tell you as well, Reshmin, a lot of happy Betfair customers who backed the Super Boost. We Super Boosted Mo Salah to have a shot on target at 6-4. Over 30,000 punters back that, so certainly a lot of happy punters there. It's been really spicy, hasn't it, this game in this first half? We obviously
very much so.
We discussed,
we kind of wanted that, didn't we?
Yeah, and obviously the guys discussed should Rodri have been sent off. A red card shown in the second half. That is now 9-2. We're hoping it's going to be spicy because, of course, we've got Sam Matterface's charity bet builder raising money for the Bobby Moore Fund. He's backed City to win over 2.5 goals, and Fabinho to be shown a yellow card. He had a few fouls earlier on in that first half, didn't he?
Yeah, it always happened in that first half, didn't it?
We looked at each other, me and Sam Matterface, and we were like, go on, give him a card. But fingers crossed that one comes in. We've backed that at just short of 13-2, so our £50 charity stake will return around £375. So fingers crossed for another goal for Manchester City and a Fabinho yellow card.
Yeah, fingers crossed for that one. Thank you very much, Sam. That odds update is all thanks to Betfair. Returns accurate as of 10 minutes ago. For verification, see betfair.com. Over 18s only. Conditions apply. Go to begambleaware.org.
Game day on Talksport with Betfair. Get a hand from Betfair's popular bet builder and easily add our fan favourite football selections to your bet slip. Terms and conditions apply. See support.betfair.com. 18 plus begambleaware.org.
Now, Manchester City against Liverpool isn't the only heavyweight clash we're bringing you on this showdown Saturday on Talksport as Anthony Joshua takes on Jermaine Franklin. That's live later on this evening. Our coverage gets underway at 7 p.m. over on Talksport 2 before switching to Talksport for the main event from 9 p.m. One of our brilliant boxing team joins us now to look ahead to the big fight. It's the former European champion, Spencer Oliver. Spencer, how are you doing? How much are you looking forward to this evening? And just how important is it that Anthony Joshua doesn't lose this fight?
Well, I'm doing very well, thank you, and I'm really looking forward to this fight tonight. I've got a long history with Anthony Joshua. We go back a long way from the amateur days, really. My father and my uncle trained him when he first got into boxing. I've been speaking to him regularly in the build-up to this one, and he feels really good. You know, he's shown that he's still got the appetite, he's still got the discipline. He's taken himself off over to Dallas to train with Derek James, who's now his new trainer, and Derek's been working on some different stuff with him. I think they're trying to reinstall that aggression that Anthony Joshua once had that took him to that world heavyweight title. You know, he likes the O2, by the way, as well. I mean, he's boxed there 7 times, won 7 KOs there. He beat Dillian White for the British and Commonwealth title in 2015. 2017, he captured the world title against Charles Martin, and now he's trying to rediscover himself. And hopefully we're going to see that tonight. I think we're going to see a more aggressive Anthony Joshua than we've seen in the last couple of years.
Yeah, and that's what we want to see, don't we? We want to see Anthony Joshua in his prime. He's come in heavier as well, hasn't he? His heaviest to date, I believe. Is that right, Spence?
Yeah, that's right. He's coming at 18 stone 3 pound. Now, his previous heaviest was back in 2017 when he won a 10th round KO against Carlos Takam. Now, the reason I think that he's coming at 18 stone 3 pounds is, I mean, he's not put on any body fat at all. It's all muscle mass. And the reason I think he's done that is Derek James is a renowned trainer that is known to get for the aggressive fighter. He likes an aggressive fighter, and I think that's what we're going to see from Anthony Joshua. He's going to want to use his size, and I think he's going to want to be more aggressive. Jermaine Franklin, on the flip side, is the smaller of the two.
Yeah.
I mean, he's come down in weight. When he boxed Dillian White, a lot of people thought he won that fight against Dillian White, so he come with no credentials and left with loads of them. He's definitely a danger man, and Joshua's got to have his eye on the ball here, but he's down to 16 stone 10. When he boxed Dillian, he was 18.5 stone, so he's probably working on speed. So, yeah, very interesting, but the weight really is a tactical thing, and I think this is where we're going to see Joshua more explosive, and that's why he's coming bigger.
Yeah, that's a big difference, isn't it, between the two of them? And you think that will play out in the tactical sense and in the way that they approach the fight?
Absolutely, because the way that I see this with Joshua now is, I think that, and speaking to him as well, I think he said, you know what, I've tried to box the best boxer in the world in Alexander Usyk. I tried, you know, he's been trying different things, and I think he's been caught between styles. I think the reason he's coming in as heavy as he is, he said, I'm going to go back to where I always was, you know, that rawness that he once had. And that rawness,
back to basics, isn't it, really?
Absolutely. I think that's where he got all his success, and that's where he needs to go again, you know. He's had a little bit of psychological damage with the Andy Ruiz losses and the 2 Alexander Usyk losses. But I think Derek James may have installed that again, and hopefully we see that tonight, because we want to see Anthony Joshua become a 3-time world heavyweight champion. You know, this kid has done everything, and I want to see him get back on his winning ways and doing it in brilliant style tonight. I mean, he needs to make a statement. He needs a knockout tonight.
He really does. And Spencer Oliver, great to talk to you. Enjoy the fight as well. Thank you very much for chatting to us. That one is over on Talksport 2 from 7 o'clock. The main event is on Talksport at 9 o'clock. We have a main event here, though, at the Etihad. The second half is about to kick off, so let me hand you back to our commentary team of Stuart Pearce, Charlie Adam. But first, Sam Muspace.
Well, Pep Guardiola has never lost at home to Liverpool in the Premier League, but his team have conceded more Premier League goals against the Reds than they have against any other side. It was a brilliant first half, both sides going for it. Mahrez certainly making an impact on the right, Grealish on the left, and it remains to be seen what can happen in the second 45. Liverpool coming with a slightly different formation to which we were expecting. Salah playing through the middle, then Gakpo taking his turn going up there. That fluid front three posing problems, especially in behind the City defence with long balls through the middle from Alisson. Which way is it going to go, Charlie?
Well, the referee's got a problem with his mic and all that, so I think we're going to have a bit of a delay here. I said 2-2 at the start. Stuart, I think it's going to be much of the same. I don't think much will change in terms of, unless something of real quality happens. I think it'll still be Man City look to have the ball, and Liverpool just have to try and get hold of the ball and not force too many errors for themselves, because if they do, Man City will pick them off at some point.
Well, we're waiting for our referee to rejoin us, Simon Hooper. He has a bit of a problem with his technical equipment, which is a bit of an issue. He's having a few bits refitted and patched up. His right arm is where the receiver to his transmissions with the other assistants and the VAR are, and he has had to go back down the tunnel to get checked out. So balls are being thrown onto the pitch to try and keep players moving and keep them warm, because there is a delay to the second half. How frustrating is that, Stuart?
Well, it is if you're a player. You've been sat down the tunnel 15 minutes now and just waiting to get going again. If I was Liverpool now, I would say, and Jurgen Klopp, and what I've seen, I would say three things that have got to happen, I think, for Liverpool to win this game. I think, A, they can't afford to give the ball away cheaply in their own half, trying to play out. Secondly, I think Elliott has got to starve possession and the supply line to Grealish. I think that's really important. And as Charlie touched on in the first half, Liverpool have got to not be afraid of turning that ball behind City's back line when they are counter-attacking and City is spread to play.
Well, it'll be Liverpool to get us up and underway in the second half. The red shirts, red shorts and red socks attacking the goal away to our right. Manchester City in their light blue tops with white shorts and blue socks attacking the goal away to our left, the north stand. And immediately Robertson is onto the ball over on the far side, charging at the Manchester City penalty area. It's played against the Scotsman and goes behind after good defending from John Stones. And the Manchester City lineup looks like this. Ederson is the goalkeeper, Stones, Diaz, Akanji and Ake, Rodri and Gundogan, then Mahrez, De Bruyne and Grealish behind Alvarez in attack. Alvarez with the only Manchester City goal so far. Liverpool, Alisson in goal, Alexander-Arnold, Konate, Van Dijk and Robertson. And then Henderson, Fabinho and Elliott behind Salah, Jota and Gakpo. Ball played out towards the right-hand side. Mahrez might be getting in here. De Bruyne's waiting in the centre. De Bruyne gets there and touching it home. Brilliant cross from Mahrez. Wonderful touch from De Bruyne. And Manchester City hit the front in the titanic battle with Liverpool. A first half where they slugged it out. Starts with a massive blow for Liverpool in the second, and it could be huge in the race for the title. Kevin De Bruyne getting on the end of a wonderful ball in from Mahrez, a very quick ball over the top for Liverpool, who were completely unset, their high line exposed, and Manchester City have come from behind to lead at the Etihad by 2-1.
Well, a couple of things contrived there for Liverpool, and you can see the frustration in Klopp. Firstly, Trent Alexander's got out the way of a challenge which was absolutely woeful, and from that moment on Liverpool were vulnerable. Why he's jumped out the way of a game of this magnitude of a challenge which was 50-50, I do not know. And then from then they were wide open. A ball, I think Robertson is waiting for the goalkeeper to come and help him out. He's delayed his recovery run, and I've got to say the ball across the face of the goal was outstanding, tempted the goalkeeper out, and De Bruyne rolled into an empty net.
Yeah, brilliant. It starts going further back. Fabinho's header, it's a poor header with his quality. Secure the ball in midfield, progress up the pitch. Instead he knocks it down, then it allows Trent Alexander to jump at a tackle, and then the game turns over. Alvarez does brilliant, flip it in behind Robertson, and it's a great ball from Mahrez with his right foot, and all De Bruyne had to do was tap it in. Fast start from Man City.
That's the last thing that Liverpool would have wanted at the beginning of the second half, was to go 2-1 behind to Manchester City. Kevin De Bruyne with yet another goal, his 7th of the season. A man who usually creates the chances, finishing off a chance created by Riyad Mahrez, who has played a big part in this game, unsettled Liverpool a little bit. And those out-and-out wingers, those two figures of Grealish and Mahrez, which have hugged the touchlines, have provided the two telling moments in this match, and it is 2-1 to Manchester City.
Jurgen would have said to his team at half-time, first 10-15 minutes, don't put any pressure on ourselves. You know, if there's an opportunity, can we turn them to get up the pitch again? Don't allow this crowd to start getting on the feet and getting them excited. Within 2 minutes of the second half, they're a goal down. you know, and then all of a sudden they're chasing the match now.
Charlie, if you're a fullback in a game like this and you get out the way of a challenge like Fred
Stuart, I'm not sure the listeners should be listening to me and you about tackling her, because you know what would have happened? We would have cleaned them out.
Well, listen, it's not even a case of yesteryear's standards. That was...
Yeah, it's schoolboy defending.
Crossed into the box from Trent Alexander-Arnold. Played back in by Konate after it's half cleared by City. Jota tries to steer it back into the box. It's blocked by Diaz. It goes back towards Gakpo, who brings it down well. A clumsy challenge from Akanji. He turns well, plays it at the goalkeeper. The offside flag has gone up against him. And the City players are absolutely furious about the fact that the late flag went up again, because they feel as if that could have caused them a serious amount of grief, and it almost did. Gakpo was definitely offside. A free kick has been given. Edison did make a very, very good save. Goal at Preston, Graham Beecroft.
And it's gone again to Preston North End right at the start of the second half. Lovely counter-attack, and the ball in the end rifled home by Tom Cannon. Preston North End 3, Blackpool 0.
Edison's given the ball away inside his own 18-yard box, straight to Fabinho. Out wide on the right it goes. Alexander-Arnold travels down the touchline. Grealish is trying to watch him. Picked up by Elliott, comes back to Konate and then goes infield to Van Dijk. You think that actually Gakpo was onside, don't you?
I think it was mighty close. It really was. There was a City defender this side, could have been Aki, dangling a leg backwards. Really, really close.
Another offside flag up on this occasion. And it's going to be a free kick to Manchester City, who lead by 2-1. But what Liverpool don't want to happen now is to see this game fall away from them, and they'll know that Manchester City can blow you away 22 times this season. That's over half of their games. They've scored 3 or more goals. 11 times it's been 4 or more. They do have some heavy artillery, and we know what Liverpool have been like when they've gone behind.
Yeah, and that could happen because of what the quality Man City have. We just got to stay patient, Liverpool. Don't want to go too chasing the game too much and open and making the gaps too big, because you know that pitch will become, you know, ever so big, and the distance will be so hard to be able to cover like this.
Gundogan charges over halfway. He's got Alvarez down through the right channel. Grealish on the left. Grealish takes over, sends the ball into the near post. Gundogan gets there, then squares it. Goalkeeper takes it rather easily, under little or no pressure, because it wasn't the perfect ball back from Gundogan, but it was a lightning quick movement from Manchester City. And with the week that Liverpool have got coming up, they know that this game is important for them. They have to get probably 2 wins out of their next 3 games against Manchester City today, Chelsea and Arsenal, if they want to finish in the top 4 this season. But at the moment they're doing themselves a bit of a disservice here, having switched off at the start of the second half and conceded a very early goal in this second 45, which has allowed Manchester City to take control of the game. And the more they probe, the more they press, the more likelihood it is that City on the turnover will cause them grief, Stuart Pearce.
Yeah, it certainly, and it come from a loose pass from Van Dijk once again, and straight away they went in. I've got to say, the pass from Grealish, just a flip pass over the top of the back line to Gundogan, incredible ball. I tell you what, the kid's on probably the best form of his Man City career at the moment, Grealish.
Yeah, his goal involvement since the World Cup have gone through the roof. The ball has been played out wide by Manchester City once again, to the right this time, and the slender figure of Riyad Mahrez into Rodri, floats the ball towards the far post. Trent Alexander-Arnold just glances it away. Picked up by Grealish though, and then Stones in the centre of midfield, wandering it from right back.
He's brilliant, isn't it? You know, Pep's just adapted this football. You know, what he's done is changed the game, bringing these midfielders into the fullbacks into midfield position. But there you go, John Stones nearly on the left wing, getting on the ball, but it's just having that security in behind it that allows that to happen.
Alvarez, Stones, right on the edge of the 18-yard box that City are attacking. Out wide to Mahrez, who skates in field, gives it back to Alvarez, couldn't get it out of his feet initially, has now, comes back to Gundogan. It's 3-1 to Manchester City. One 0 down, 3-1 up. Ilkay Gundogan with another massive goal, which ensures that they will put the pressure on Arsenal in this title race, and will not give up the fight, will not lay down, and will continue to battle right the way towards the end. A signal of intent, a show of strength. Manchester City lead Liverpool by 3-1.
I think for everything Manchester City are with the confidence on the ball, Liverpool aren't at the moment. I can see the frustration etched all over the body language of Jurgen Klopp with his team at present, and his team have just not got that confidence that they've had, in previous years, really.
Yeah, that's the difference. Man City, they score one and then they just score another one. They can take the game away for you quickly. But again, people dangling legs and not really making contact with people. And it can happen. It's a great finish with Gundogan in the box.
Well, Jurgen Klopp has just come out towards the edge of his technical area and turned around to his troops and said, you've got to calm down here, because they're in danger of causing themselves some serious grief. Losing here is not a dishonour, but losing badly and capitulating certainly will be. Liverpool can't afford to do that.
No, they've got to regroup, get tight again and get a few passes off, build some confidence back.
3-1. Here's Gakpo in from Jota, now attacking the penalty area, down the left side, cuts back in on his right foot, little deflection, takes it over the top of the defence and away from the left-hand upright of Ederson's goal. It scoots behind and it's out for a corner kick on this near side to Liverpool. If you are Jurgen Klopp, what are you thinking now?
Well, the game's just going to pan out like it's going to pan out. I don't think he can do a great deal at this stage. They've had a couple of chances. Gakpo's had that one that was ruled for offside. I'm not so sure it was, but obviously it ended up being blocked. Another good opportunity then. I still feel as though they'll get the odd opportunity within this game, but I think the main thing for Liverpool is make sure that City don't run away with it and hit them for 5 or 6.
Alexander-Arnold in towards the near post. It comes back to Fabinho, edge of the box. He plays it square to Elliott. Back wide it goes now, right wing position. Alexander-Arnold's cross into the area, away by Ake. And Mahrez is going to get there and drag Manchester City away up the pitch. And then Alexander-Arnold just has a little nibble at Riyad Mahrez. They want a yellow card for him. Referee says no. Play on. And then Grealish comes out to the near touchline and says, can I have a drink, please, or some gel or something? And very quickly, one of the medical staff, there's about 40 of them, comes out to attend to his needs. I mean, Pep Guardiola was trying to get the drink for him. I'm not sure that's his job.
This is where the frustration comes there. Mahrez is going absolutely nowhere, running towards the touchline. He's surrounded by 2 Liverpool players, and Trent just bowls him to the ground and says... Mahrez looks at him and says, thank you very much, I was in big trouble then, I had nowhere to go.
Takes the momentum away from where you are. Gets the crowd lifted because you've made a foul, and all of a sudden you get another foul further up the pitch. It's just using your head and using your knowledge and experience where you are on the pitch. Don't allow... Mahrez is facing his own goal, you don't need to foul him.
Well, Liverpool are losing their heads here, aren't they? They're giving away cheap fouls, they're losing their positions, they're not keeping with their markers, they're not crisp enough with their passes, and they're in danger of being picked apart. It's 3-1. And it's Talksport, live at the Etihad Stadium. The first of a number of big showdowns on this Saturday afternoon. Palace Leicester on Talksport 2. We'll be round our grounds giving you all the team news ahead of Adrian Durham's brilliant Round the Ground show at 2:30, when he will discuss, I'm sure, the fallout from this match and what it means for Arsenal, who play Leeds at 3 o'clock today. And then later on, Anthony Joshua will be our focus when we bring you that fight live tonight. And then it all will be dissected, poured over and discussed on the breakfast show from Monday morning. Laura Woods and Ali McCoist back together. Big week for the Rangers legend Ali McCoist. And maybe a big week for Laura as well. As an Arsenal fan, she'll have a keen interest in this game and what happens at Leeds. And if you fancy an alternative, then Chris Evans is on Virgin Radio every morning from 6:30. Mark Rylance and Greg Davis were on that show this week. You can get that via the Virgin Radio app or on DAB Digital Radio. This is Talksport. 3-1 the score to Manchester City. And Ruben Diaz plays the ball back towards this left-hand side, where on the halfway line waiting for it once again is Jack Grealish, who's been pretty much magnificent in the match. Skips past 3 challenges, opens the pitch up to the right-hand side. De Bruyne picks it up and helps it on further, deeper down to the right. Gets a return from Mahrez. A delivery into the box, which is searching out Gundogan, away by Trent Alexander-Arnold, and it's half cleared by Liverpool, who is still under pressure from a flurry of blue shirts. The smothering on the edge of the box, and Trent Alexander-Arnold's given it straight to De Bruyne. Fabinho was there to rescue the situation, and that is another sense of frustration. That is another mistake which can leave you dizzied if you are a Liverpool fan. But they've broken up down the left with Gakpo playing the ball into Robertson, whose low ball into the box is, well, given away cheaply. Then Ake makes a challenge on Gakpo. Gakpo goes down. Referee waves away the protest of a penalty, and Manchester City go up the other end and look to attack. It's end-to-end stuff. Gundogan with a man over on this left-hand side. That man is Jack Grealish. Alvarez picks it up. Grealish gets it now. Into the penalty area they come. Gundogan lurking on the edge. He curls it to the right post, and it's pushed round that post by Alisson and out for a corner.
Brilliant play, end to end, go on attack, Liverpool attacking, all of a sudden within 25 seconds Man City have got a corner. The speed and what they attack and how far they run, that's the biggest thing for me. Yeah, they're top players, but it's how hard they want to run on, off the ball for each other.
Yeah, I think as Charlie said, the game went from end to end, but you just had the feeling that Man City went with more of a supreme confidence about trying to get a goal than Liverpool did with their final pass from Robertson behind everybody.
I'll ask you about that penalty in just a second, but it's a corner to Manchester City over on the far side. The hour mark has just reached us here at the Etihad Stadium. A left-footed ball deep towards the far post, headed into the air by Konate, rescued by Grealish. Stones won't get there, Elliott will, and now Salah looks to spring an attack. But City are back very quickly. Diaz organising everybody as he runs back. No wonder he's only conceded one goal, I think, in his last 8 games for club and country, and that was the one that Salah scored earlier in this match. I mean, he's been absolutely terrific since coming back into the team, Ruben Diaz. He's such an organiser and such a supreme defender. Akanji. Again, you talk about that purpose with which Manchester City broke, and Liverpool don't have that conviction, which they have had in the past, Stuart. That was apparent there again. You know, Salah picks the ball up on the right-hand side. There's an overload on the left where Jota is running into space, but immediately it's closed down. Yeah,
as I say, there is just an ingredient missing from Liverpool at the moment. It's there for all to see, and that's just fueled the inconsistency that we've seen this year from them.
Now Man City have got them where they want. Just keeping the ball, pressing, getting 2v1s, 3v2s and all over the pitch at the moment. This distances are looking massive in this Liverpool team, and people are now just being able to stroll around and pass it with a purpose.
Grealish takes the ball out of the sky, midway inside Liverpool half. They're backpedaling here, Liverpool once again, as City come forward with Gundogan into Alvarez. A little back heel, Fabinho off the ball. A little challenge on Gundogan. The referee not happy, not seen that. Gundogan is trying to bring it to his attention. There was a clash in midfield which has given Liverpool a free kick. They are warming up substitutes now, Liverpool, but it might be just a little bit too late. James Milner down this left side is being joined by Arthur and Joel Matip. Yeah, Arthur Melo, who was at Juventus, he's on loan at Liverpool. He was at Barcelona before that, but he's never really hit the heights that many people thought he might. He's obviously a brilliant footballer, but he's suffered with injury. Oh, Alisson, he's under pressure from Alvarez, had to do a Cruyff turn and get himself out of it. And luckily he's got good footwork.
Yeah, good play from the goalkeeper, but let's say Liverpool just putting the cell in the pressure. Again, Trent putting his cell in the pressure.
Yeah, he's given the ball away again, and now he's running around ready to commit a foul, looking a little bit headless there.
I think you can see Milner possibly coming on soon.
Well, I wondered actually whether or not Milner might have started the game today in that right full-back position. It's what Jurgen Klopp did earlier in the season when these two came together.
Yeah, I think in Grealish's form, Milner wouldn't thank you for the starting berth.
James Milner, who turns 57 on Wednesday. Here is Mahrez into the penalty area, goes round the challenge of Robertson. His cross is into the arms of Alisson, and Liverpool look to bring it forward. There's no composure here, by the way. Every time a goalkeeper gets the ball, they release someone quickly, looking to go on the attack. And the ball's gone out of play over on the far side. It was out of play for maybe 2.5 seconds before Stones threw it in. It's been non-stop action since we started. There's been 4 goals scored. We've had a number of bookings, and it's 3-1 to Manchester City.
Yeah, I think if you look at that, the fitness levels of these players, and being away international duty, you wouldn't know, would you? No. You know that, let's say, get the ball back in as quick as we can, because if you switch off, then that gives an opportunity for a Man City to go and throw it quickly and maybe get an opportunity. So these boys are alive, they're alert, and they want to get it back in as quick as they can.
At the moment, they're closing the gap on Arsenal to 5 points prior to the game with Leeds at 3 o'clock, where Adrian Durham will be sitting for our Round the Ground show at 2:30 today. We'll give you team news in 5 minutes' time. Here is Henderson, 3-1 to Manchester City, live on Talksport. Henderson in centre field for Liverpool, clipping the ball out towards this right-hand side. It's picked up by Elliott and sent back infield to Trent Alexander-Arnold. He gets away from Alvarez on the halfway line and then plays it square into Konate. Manchester City 3, Liverpool 1 on Talksport with Now Sports. And don't forget that with the Now Sports, you can stream all the action between Chelsea and Aston Villa later on today from 5:30 for just $11.99, no contract. Search Now Sports. Salah into the penalty area, away by Stones. Back as far as Fabinho, scoops it forward. Header away by Stones again. Gakpo wins a header. Away by Diaz into the air. Out on the right, Alexander-Arnold just tries to nudge it into the path of Elliott, but it's won by Grealish and then picked up by Alvarez, and then De Bruyne is sprinting away down the far side. Alvarez can't get away from Konate this time, and Konate brings it into the middle, and Liverpool have possession once more. Not a great ball forward by Konate, and Akanji and Mahrez conspire to get it back for the champions, the team that have won 4 of the last 5 Premier League titles. No one has won 3 consecutive titles since Manchester United 14 years ago. Doesn't happen very often. Only the very, very best can do it. Manchester City might just be that team.
I just looked, we spoke before the game about the fullback areas in my world being very sort of critical today, and I'm looking at the City fullbacks in Ake and Stones. I think they've been very good. I can't say the same for both Liverpool fullbacks, I've got to say.
Preston 3, Blackpool 0, Luton 1, Watford 0. Latest scores from the Championship. Manchester United have beaten Brighton and Hove Albion women by 4-0 away from home to extend their lead at the top of the WSL table. Loads of games in that competition tomorrow. We'll keep you updated on the Sunday session from 1 o'clock with myself and Scott Minto. Ball is out on the far side. It's collected by Mahrez. Manchester City on the attack again. Funneling back into position was Jota. In central midfield is Rodri, who has to be a little bit careful because he got himself caught in a bit of a tangle in the first half. Ended up getting booked, and there was a few shouts for sending off, although I don't think that was really the right thing at that time. Managing the game was correct from Simon Hooper, who's handled things well. Here is Gundogan, over to Akanji, back to Mahrez, and then towards the edge of the box, and Stones trying to get away from Virgil van Dijk. It's Mahrez. They're playing triangles around Liverpool now. Manchester City, they're just fluent and strong and crisp and precise with their passing, and well, Liverpool haven't really got anywhere to go.
They're playing with freedom and confidence. You see that they're roaming around. Grealish wants a touch, plenty of touches. Stones is interesting to see how many passes Stones has had today. He's had a lot of the ball, and just once you get a bit of momentum, confidence, switches of play now are coming out. So Liverpool have just got to stay resilient, got to stick together.
Mahrez, who takes the ball out of the sky, then takes on Robertson, low cross into the box, away by Virgil van Dijk, who puts it out for a corner. Could get messy this for Liverpool unless they're really careful. They have to keep concentrated. 23 still to go.
Four substitutes coming on here for Liverpool as well.
Darwin Nunez, Roberto Firmino, Kostas Tsimikas, and is that Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain? I think it is, who's about to come on. That's 4 changes all at once after this corner. And we'll ask Stuart Pearce what he thinks about that in just a second. First of all, here is the corner, which Mahrez will take. Akanji on the edge of the 6-yard box, a little bit further back from him. Alvarez and Diaz just patrolling in front of the Liverpool defence. It's sent long towards the far post, flicked away by Van Dijk. Grealish will allow it to run out of play, and he's just given it the nod. Jurgen Klopp's just given it the nod to the linesman, but unfortunately the 4th official now is not ready with his board, so there's going to be a throw in for Grealish down this left hand side before we continue, and he throws it into Gundogan back to Grealish being harassed by Fabinho. He turns the ball away from Elliott now. He's travelled such a long way with it. He's so confident with it at his feet. Gives it to Akanji to take any pressure off, and then he just floats back out into this left wing position, waiting for the ball to come back his way once again. 3-1 the score. Diaz out wide towards Ake. Ake forward into Alvarez round the corner for Gundogan, who just stumbles slightly at the vital moment. So we instead will go off to get team news from our 2 o'clock kickoff. So we're going to start at the game at the Emirates Stadium, and Leeds nursing a raft of injuries. James Fielden.
Yeah, surprising the Arsenal team, first of all. Gabriel Jesus comes into the side at the expense of Bukayo Saka. The last time he didn't start in the Premier League was December 2021. He's on the bench today. Partey also OK in midfield. Numerous changes for Leeds. Verber out through injury. Gnonto likewise. McKennie and Bamford dropped to the bench. Christensen, Struijk, Somerville and Sinisterra all start. Arsenal Leeds is our base from 3 o'clock.
Here are the changes then. Robertson and Jota are coming off. They're the first to disappear down the touchline. Tsimikas coming on and Firmino coming on. Oxlade-Chamberlain and Darwin Nunez coming on. Mo Salah is being withdrawn here by Jurgen Klopp, which is interesting. And the other one to come off is Harvey Elliott. Your reaction, Charlie Adam?
Yeah, you're obviously surprised when you've got somebody like Salah that can win you, get you back into the match, but Klopp will obviously be thinking about midweek. You know, they got Chelsea in midweek, so they'll have to think about that as well. So I think there'll be that into it as well.
Live on Talksport 2 at Selhurst Park at 3 o'clock. Roy Hodgson returns. Has he made any significant changes for our live commentary, Joe Shannon?
He's made 3 changes in all, Sam, with Guaita and Anderson back from injury. Eze also starts. Whitworth, Tompkins and Milivojevic drop out. For Leicester, Christensen is back after injury. Fass returns after a ban. Ricardo and Amate drop out. Daniel Everson continues in goal.
Brighton and Brentford are battling for Europe. They're both very difficult to beat, Ian Abrahams.
They certainly are. No Evan Ferguson today, not even on the bench for Brighton. Steele, Veltman, Colwell and Gross come in, and so does Welbeck for them. 1 change for Brentford. Pontus Jansson returns to the team and Visser drops out.
Back here, it's Manchester City 3, Liverpool 1 on Talksport. And Manchester City have now got to contend with 4 Liverpool changes. What do you make of 4 changes at this stage, Stuart Pearce?
Well, he obviously feels as though he has to do something to get back in the game. At this stage, I can't see a way forward at all for Liverpool. But whether there's an eye on midweek, whether he's given up on the game slightly, or whether it's a statement of intent to try and get back in the game, or a combination of all the lot.
City have it inside their own half, right deep inside their penalty area. Ederson swishes the ball beautifully out to the far side. Akanji gallops up to halfway. De Bruyne switches the play from right to left, and Grealish is waiting for it. It bounces in front of the England man. He takes on Alexander-Arnold, goes past him. There's a slip inside the box. It's picked up by Grealish, who lays it off to De Bruyne. He sends it wide towards the right-hand side now. It's flipped in by Mahrez, punched away by Alisson. It wasn't the most convincing of punches, although he did get some distance on it. And it comes out to Rodri on this near side. Gundogan, De Bruyne, space out wide for Mahrez. De Bruyne, Grealish. Again, they're enjoying themselves, Manchester City. They're playing with smiles on their faces, knowing that 3 points is almost certainly secured here at the Etihad Stadium. 3-1 the score on Talksport. The latest odds come from Betfair, the official betting partner of Talksport's Premier League coverage, where right now you can get Manchester City to win the game at 50-1 on. Liverpool 150-1 to come back and win the match, and you can back the draw at 22-1. It's all thanks to Betfair 18+, BeGambleAware.org. Yeah, it is quite evident looking at this that this is one where Manchester City have landed significant blows.
I'll tell you what, I've just seen Trent Alexander run from his berth at right back. He's gone on a fool's errand, run himself out the game just to wave his arms at his teammate and potentially his manager, which I find quite strange.
Yeah, when things are not going for you and your confidence is low, you do silly things and you try and not pass the buck, but you look at, try and make excuses and, you know, wave your arms and that. When your own teammates are doing that, stay in your own position and you know, build your confidence back up. Keep it simple.
Alex Crook told the Game Day podcast from Talksport this week that Bournemouth's season comes down to this one game. Opponents Fulham are without key figures. Who's in and who's out, Alex?
Well, with Willian and Mitrovic both suspended, Fulham bring in Solomon and Vinicius. Despite having Marcus Tavernier fit for the first time since February, Bournemouth unchanged. Their January signing, defender Ilaya Zabani is named on the bench for the first time. It's Bournemouth against Fulham at the Vitality.
Grealish on to De Bruyne, down the left, back into Grealish, it's 4-1! De Bruyne celebrates, but it's Grealish who takes the acclaim. A man of the match performance, capped with a terrific goal. 4-1 Manchester City lead against Liverpool. Who needs Erling Haaland? The goals still flow when you're in Manchester City blue. They have blitzed Liverpool in this second half, and they've closed the gap on Arsenal to just 5 points, and they have signalled their intention. They mean business, and Jack Grealish certainly is in the business. 4-1.
I don't mean this as literally as it sounds, but Liverpool are playing like your archetypical team that are going to get relegated. They're not, don't get me wrong, but you know all of those traits with silly mistakes, pulling out of tackles, making decisions, and the angst amongst the players and the body language of the manager is there for all to see.
Sure, I'm just watching Jordan Henderson berate Trent Alexander. He's giving him all sorts of stick. He's not happy with the switch of play. He doesn't get out quick enough. He allows Grealish to run at him, and then De Bruyne runs on the inside of him, but then he doesn't track the run of Grealish. He allows all the ambles back in, and then Grealish goes and gets a goal. That's a proper captain. He's not happy. He's telling his teammate, get out there quick enough, stop the cross, stop it, and do something about Grealish. So at the moment, it's all coming down this right hand side again for Liverpool.
Mahrez trying to make it even worse. Van Dijk with a tackle, and he's dispossessed just about, and Oxlade-Chamberlain brings it clear, but he's sending it behind, and once again they're starting that traditional celebration they do here. It's starting to emerge, just to rub salt into the Liverpool wounds. The Poznan, where they all turn with their backs to the pitch and bounce up and down. They want to get it started. It is some sight when it does get into full swing. They're having a great day, the Manchester City fans, and they are rubbing it in the faces of a team that has been their rival for many a year. Look, Liverpool's record here ain't great. I know everyone was talking about the fact that they'd stopped Manchester City over the course of the last few seasons and hadn't allowed them to be beaten. They haven't won here since 2015, and that was when City was snoozing and Jurgen Klopp had just woken Liverpool up. They've won just 3 of their last 16 games in this stadium in all competitions, and they are being well beaten here. It's Manchester City 4, Liverpool 1 on Talksport with Now Sports. Don't forget, with Now Sports you can stream all this Sky Sports action like Chelsea Aston Villa today for $11.99, no contract. Search Now Sports. This is significant because not only could it crush Liverpool's hopes of finishing in the top 4, or certainly put a huge dent in them, Stuart, it can reinvigorate a team that we know from previous experience could quite easily win every game between now and the end of the season.
Yeah, comfortably. I think from Liverpool's point of view, Sam, they need a reset. They need a fire break this summer.
I think this could be a worry for next season, because if you think about what these players are in the building now, it ain't going to be easy to change too many of them. Yeah, you could bring 4 or 5 in, but it'll be very difficult to get rid of 4 or 5 if that's how much Jurgen wants to change.
Well, we should go off to the game at Nottingham Forest. They're playing Wolves today. Jeff Peters is watching for us. Jeff, we weren't trying to exclude you, but there were goals raining in here. So what's the team news?
No problem at all. Johnson and Gibbs-White both start for Forest. There were doubts. In come Williams, Toffolo, Freuler, Danilo and Mangala. 5 changes also for Wolves. Johnny suspended. Cunha, Totti, Nunez, Moutinho and Adama Traore come into their 11 here.
And the great Jeff Peters is part of the Game Day live show from 2:30. And obviously there's a little bit of pressure on Steve Cooper, we saw this week. International break, never a great time for under pressure managers, but a story did emerge over the last sort of 48 hours about his possible position. He's done a very good job taking Nottingham Forest from bottom of the Championship to 16th in the Premier League, but anyone in the bottom half could be relegated, and that relegation battle will be one of our many focuses over April, where we'll bring you 50 live games on Talksport and Talksport 2. 12 minutes to go. That big game between Manchester City and Arsenal later on this month looks like it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Good news is we've got that one for you too. Here is Gundogan over on the far side. Kevin De Bruyne bringing it down. Back towards Akanji. Akanji infield to Gundogan once more. Toying with Liverpool now. They play the ball out towards the right. Dropping deep to pick it up is Mahrez. He accelerates and moves into a midfield position. Rodri leaves it for Grealish. And again, they look misshapen, Liverpool, as Grealish shrugs off Trent Alexander-Arnold. Wanders into the edge of the penalty area. He could shoot if he wanted to. He doesn't. He just holds on to it. He's teasing and toying the red shirts. He plays it wide to De Bruyne. Back to Grealish again. Down the side for Mahrez. Goalkeeper's come out and committed. Mahrez has picked it up by the byline. Travelled back outside the box. Back out to De Bruyne. Now we'll have another go over on the far side. It's almost like a little cat playing with a ball of string, isn't it, Stuart?
It is. They're so arrogant with the football. The beauty is they can spread to play because they know individuals that have got the ball at their feet do not give it away readily, especially the likes of De Bruyne and Grealish.
Do you know what I like about it? Yeah, they're arrogant with the ball, but it's no flicks and tricks and being disrespectful to the opposition. They're passing with a purpose, they're moving quickly, and yeah, they've got confidence. Absolutely, they're top players, but there's no disrespect to the opposition.
Ball elevated by Rodri out towards the far side. Mahrez gives it back to Akanji. Manchester City 4, Liverpool 1 on Talksport with Car Finance 24/7. Search Car Finance 24/7 today. James Milner about to come on. Maybe he'll replace Trent Alexander-Arnold for the last few minutes of this game and get a little bit of a workout. If he does emerge, and it is a monumental day for him, although he probably won't want to celebrate it today. He's just about to draw level with Frank Lampard in third place on the all-time list of Premier League appearances. Milner, when he steps onto the pitch in just a few moments. Grealish coming in from the left-hand side, switches to play again from left to right with a ball out to Mahrez, which is taken out of the sky. Manchester City get the feeling just happy to keep the ball now. They know the job is done. It's finished. Ake down to Grealish, near touchline, back into Gundogan, centre field. Later on today, we've got Joshua Franklin, the big heavyweight bout. It's necessary for Anthony Joshua, who's come in really heavy, to make a statement tonight. He needs a knockout. He needs a quick knockout. He needs to make a statement in front of the O2 crowd, and we will be there tonight from 7 o'clock on Talksport 2, 9 o'clock on Talksport. Download our app, you can get all the action. Here is Kevin De Bruyne playing it further wide towards the right, where it's collected by Mahrez. Into the edge of the penalty area, a flip ball towards the far post, a volley by Grealish, saved by Alisson down low at his near post. Comes back out to Grealish again on the left side, angles the ball to the far post, and Mahrez trying to get it under control and successfully does that. He moves to the left, flips it to Rodri, edge of the area, he shoots, it hits the back of Oxlade-Chamberlain and bounces to the far side. But Liverpool look forlorn, they look tired, they look fatigued, they look as if they're a team that are punch drunk by what was several second half haymakers from this Manchester City team. James Milner comes on for Cody Gakpo. I thought he might be popular here, having helped them win the title once upon a time. Apparently not.
No, not definitely no. And against one of your fiercest rivals. It's an unbelievable record, isn't it, coming on to equal Frank Lampard for James Milner.
Yeah, Milner takes the joint third spot now alongside Frank Lampard in the Premier League appearance race, and here is Rodri being replaced by Bernardo Silva for the last few moments of the game. A little nod from Bernardo Silva, a hug for Rodri, who seems to have been quite happy to take out his frustrations suffered on international duty on Liverpool today. And Liverpool have a corner to defend away to our left with 7 minutes to go, live on Talksport. Mahrez to send the cross in towards the near post this time, possibly with... They're primed, they've gone short actually to De Bruyne. We knew they was expecting something different. Then it's whipped towards the far post, and Bernardo Silva, almost with his first touch, got on the end of that cross and tried to steer it home, but it goes floating behind and away for a goalkeeper. He's come on, Bernardo Silva, tried to get and attack that corner kick, and then run away smiling. And that seems to be the nature of Manchester City's performance, really, because they are just having a great time, and Liverpool look as if they've been completely outplayed in this second half. Yes, they scored early on. They should have probably have got themselves further in front, actually, before Grealish stepped in and prevented a great chance. But since Manchester City scored their goal, Charlie, they've only really looked like the team that can go on and win it.
Yeah, they've taken confidence. Liverpool scored, and then obviously they had the chance where Grealish runs 60-70 yards to get back and deny an opportunity. And then after that, it was all Man City getting confidence and built momentum in the match. And this number 10 on the ball at the moment, Grealish he's been sensational today.
Well, it's a big game now on Tuesday night, Stuart, isn't it, for Liverpool against Chelsea away from home. That's live on Talksport.
Yeah, it certainly is, and for more than just a result reason, I think. Liverpool need to build. Listen, anyone can get whacked by Manchester City, I understand that, but just some of the underlying bits that you see, the frustration, body language of Jurgen, his players, there's a little bit of bickering amongst the players. All of those type of things are alarming to see.
And we'll be speaking to them live, I think, straight after the conclusion of this game. We'll try and do that before we get into the 3 o'clocks. And Manchester City have basically had exclusive rights to the football for about 20 minutes now. They've hardly had Liverpool being allowed a kick, despite their 4 substitutions that they made to try and rev things up. We've got 5 minutes before the end of the game. The goals coming from Alvarez, De Bruyne, Gundogan and Grealish. Remember, there's no Foden or Haaland today. Cole Palmer about to come on as the second substitute in the game for Manchester City and for Pep Guardiola, whose team are closing the gap to Arsenal to 5 points. Significant for them because they've got a very busy period upcoming. Southampton away is next, and then Bayern Munich live on Talksport from the Etihad in the Champions League. Here is Alvarez into the area. Goalkeeper came out, stopped, comes back to De Bruyne, down by the byline. Grealish is at the edge of the penalty area. Gundogan is on the edge of the 6-yard box, tries to win a header. Canate away. Bernardo Silva keeps it alive. Grealish brings it down inside the box. It's still with Manchester City, who are on the attack here and leading by 4-1. Grealish into the area, plays a wall pass against Henderson, gets into the area, little back heel towards Gundogan, almost came off as well for Manchester City. He's playing with an unbelievable swagger right now. He's definitely Jack the Lad today. Here is Mahrez into the penalty area. Ball bobbles across the face of goal, goes out the other side, and Alexander-Arnold will be able to clear. Goal at the game between Preston and Blackpool. Graham Beecroft.
A consolation for Blackpool. It's Preston 3, Blackpool 1. Low cross from the right-hand side, and there was Jerry Yates to fire the ball home from point-blank range. So it's Preston 3, Blackpool 1.
Busy old day up and down the country. We'll keep it covered for you here on Talksport with Adrian Durham after 2:30 this afternoon. We'll go round the grounds tomorrow in the WSL and in the Premier League. Massive match for West Ham and Southampton tomorrow at 2 o'clock. We'll keep you covered on the Sunday session. Join us from 1 o'clock. Brighton Hove Albion women have been beaten by Manchester United in the WSL by 4-0 earlier today. It's still very tight at Kenilworth Road over on Talksport 2, where it's Luton 1, Watford 0. And that's the latest. And Bradford, who scored first in their game against Grimsby, which kicked off at 1 o'clock, are now 2-1 behind at Valley Parade. Bradford very much going for the playoffs. Grimsby very much mid-table. Here it's 4-1 to Manchester City. And there's so much to pour over after this game. And it was a contest so vehemently contested in that first 45 minutes. Two teams going at it, a proper match. In the second half, I'm afraid Liverpool just didn't come out. City struck twice within the first 9 minutes of the second half, and that was that, Stuart, really.
It was, and City, the ascendancy they're showing just gets stronger and stronger as the minutes fade away here, and I think Liverpool going through the motions. They want to see this game finished and very quickly.
Would you be slightly nervous if you were Mikel Arteta in that dressing room at the Emirates Stadium? Would you be sitting there thinking, this is going to be a slog between now and the end of the season?
Well, put it this way, Arsenal were top of the division. They would have took that last summer. Yeah. I think they've got to roll their sleeves up and just enjoy every moment. They're playing that well, and it doesn't matter what City do. I expect City to go and win the vast majority of their games.
And he'll be expecting that, won't he?
Bar maybe Arsenal. Of course he will. And why wouldn't you think that they wouldn't? It's what you do. Arsenal have got it in their hands.
Jack Grealish replaced by Pep Guardiola to bring on Cole Palmer. But as Grealish departs the scene, he walks away having been the shining star in this game, a dominant figure. He gets a hug from Pep Guardiola. He has history with Liverpool. He scored twice against them when Aston Villa beat them surprisingly 7-2. When he was a kid, he tore them apart in an FA Cup game in a semi-final at Wembley when Brendan Rodgers was in charge of the Reds. And today he's had a terrific showing, one of his best in a Manchester City shirt. He's created goals, he's scored a goal, and he's been a talismanic figure in this Manchester City team.
This kid's not bad as well, is he, Palmer? I've seen an article in the week about him being frustrated. I think sometimes when you're coming through the academy and you're playing it with these players and the top players, I don't think you should be frustrated. It should be a privilege to see how these boys train, they play, dedicate their life to being a top player. And if you take that into your game, then you'll give yourself the best chance to be the best footballer you can. So I think a bit frustrating, yeah, game time, but you know, these little 5-minute cameos, he'll learn so much in training with these lads every day to then hopefully become a starting player for Man City, like Phil Foden done over the years.
At 20 years of age, we're playing 20 games for Manchester City in a season, this is his 20th appearance today. That shouldn't be sniffed at, should it?
No, absolutely not. I think if you harness it in the right way and you use it and bottle it up and think, right, okay, my experiences going later on in his football career, the days that when he felt it was tough at Man City no playing, there's plenty of games for him, opportunities to go and play in the reserve team or whatever when he does, but he's involved in top class games and playing with top players every single day.
Arsenal without Bukayo Saka today. Adrian Durham will be at the Emirates Stadium for that game, and we'll have commentary of Palace Leicester on Talksport too. We'll keep you up to date with everything that happens around the EFL and the National League as well. All the goals as they go in. Big day up and down the country. We're in the business end of the season now. We're in the business end of this match. We've got added time, of which I think there was 2 or 3 minutes at the end of 3 minutes of added time at the end of the second half. And Manchester City's record under Pep, not brilliant against Liverpool. He had won just 6 of the 19 games against them before today, but this is a vital victory. And Liverpool still waiting to win here, and their results in the 12:30 kickoffs. This is their 6th 12:30 kickoff this season, and they haven't won any of them. They really don't like getting up early on a Saturday. Here is Henderson down the right. Oxlade-Chamberlain fires the ball into the centre, looking for another consolation goal. And it goes straight into the arms of Ederson and clears away. Full time in the game at Deepdale. Let's get to Graham Beecroft.
Yes, it's all over. It's finished. Preston North End 3, Blackpool 1. He made 3 half-time substitutions, Mick McCarthy, but straight away Blackpool got a third, and that was effectively the end of the game. Why McCarthy didn't make the changes before the start of the match remains to be seen, but they were certainly a lot better when those changes came on. The other 2 Blackpool goals, well, they came in the first period of the match, and that was really that when Brad Potts and Ben Whiteman had scored the 2 goals which made Preston lead at half-time. Preston 3, Blackpool 1.
So Preston very much in command in that game. Blackpool worried about relegation from the Championship, and that only helping to solidify those fears here. Top 4, certainly something that Liverpool want to work towards, but they know they need points on the board. They're not getting any today, that's for sure. Manchester City taking all 3 with them, and a big game now for Liverpool on Tuesday night, which will be live on Talksport. Gundogan round the corner for Mahrez. They're on halfway and then further into the Liverpool half. Mahrez gets into the box, clips it forward, takes a deflection, goes behind, and it's out for a corner. We've played nearly our 3 minutes of added time at the end of the 90, but Simon Hooper, no employment of the mercy laws. He said, keep going. There's a few of those red-wearing Liverpool players just looking over and thinking, any chance if you just blow the whistle now, ref? We've had enough. We've been chasing shadows for 30 minutes. Palmer into Gundogan, turning away from Milner, back out wide to Mahrez. Mahrez across to Gundogan. They just keep the ball so well. He has actually blown up a little bit early, Simon Hooper. Manchester City have sustained a few blows along the way, but they are still very much in contention for the title. This is a team that looked unsteady and dazed around Christmas, but they've come back fighting. It's 7 home wins in a row now, 11 games unbeaten, and they are primed to keep landing shots, keep jabbing at Arsenal to ensure the Gunners don't have it easy. No Haaland today, but goals aplenty, and Jack the lad definitely made the Reds feel sad. It means all the attention turns to the Emirates now. Can Arsenal come out fighting? You'll find out over the next few hours. But it's finished here at the Etihad. Manchester City 4, Liverpool 1.
Sam Matterface, thank you very much indeed. What an atmosphere here then at the Etihad. The Manchester City fans, many of them staying in their places. A lot of the away fans from the Liverpool end had already started to leave even before the full-time whistle had blown. That is the level of humiliation this side will have felt. The Liverpool players are going over to thank the few that are still there in the stands, and they are gratefully receiving them as well. But this day belongs to Manchester City. It was imperative that they put in a good performance. They say class is permanent, form is temporary, class is permanent. Liverpool have had class, so much class over the last few years. They couldn't bring that to the table today. It looked like they lost their heads at certain moments. This just wasn't a game that they could impose their authority on, because Manchester City had a vision, they had a plan, and they executed that to perfection. Jack Grealish, the man, pulling all the strings and helping Manchester City to this crucial victory today. 4-1 it finishes at the Etihad. And what a day for these Manchester City fans. They know that they are still chasing that title. They know that they are only now 5 points behind Arsenal. They do have a game in hand as well. It makes this title race so intriguing. The Liverpool players heading down the tunnel now. And the Manchester City fans still celebrating with the players as well, just before the last of them leave as well. I'm here with Stuart Pearce. I'm here with Charlie Adams. It's, you know, what are Arsenal thinking watching this, do you think, Charlie?
Nothing. Worry about what's in your own house. Don't worry about anybody else. You're in a great position. If you win all your games, you're a champion. That's why they've put themselves in that position. They've been able to get themselves into a gap and the game against Man City will take care of itself, but worry about winning your own games. Win your own games, and you know everything else will take care of itself. So Mikel would have been sat today thinking about, you know, what we can do today, make sure our players are well prepared. He'd expect Man City to win today. They're at home against Liverpool. Don't worry about that. Get on and move yourself, and hopefully his team have a performance and get a win that they think they deserve.
Well, it was a commanding victory for Manchester City. Liverpool just looked out of ideas the minute that equaliser went in, and particularly after Kevin De Bruyne's early goal. As soon as the second half kicked off, they just could not impose themselves on this game. Stuart Pearce, you talked about Liverpool needing some sort of a reset. What exactly do you mean by that? In which departments and how?
Well, I think today was certainly this game a tale of two cities. It really was. I mean, Manchester City are chasing down Arsenal. They're playing with supreme confidence. If today's anything to go by, Grealish is on the top of the ground at the moment, form-wise. There's no doubt about that. Liverpool, whatever they do in even their passing lines, there's not a real confidence to it. It's passing for passing's sake, rather than we're going to play it in there to free someone up further down the pitch or whatever. And you can see the angst amongst the players, in the body language of the manager at this moment in time, and I think they're literally desperate for probably a break from this season, to draw a line under it and say, look, it's not been a good season, but they've got one of the best managers in the world. They've got a great squad of players. They've got new players that are settling into the club, and some of the players that have been here for a number of years are not showing the form probably that they have in previous years. Yeah,
and they're not going to just become a bad side overnight, are they? I mean, look, they've got... this was billed as a huge week. 3 games in 1 week. They had 2 games in hand to reach that top 4 place. One of them is now gone. They play Chelsea at Stamford Bridge on Tuesday night, live on Talksport, and Arsenal as well after that. What does this game do for their top 4 hopes? I mean, nothing's over. There's still a long way to go between now and March the 28th. But it's a big dent, isn't it, Charlie?
It is, because it's 3 points and it can get you closer. like the Bournemouth game previously before the Champions League game, and 1-0 defeat. But you've got to pick yourself up. You dust yourself down. You look at it. There'll be so many things that Jurgen will see in the game that he'll talk to the players next week about. I thought Gakpo at times showed some nice things and never gave up and was driving with the ball. But there's a lot more to Liverpool, and let's say you've got to dust yourself down. There's a game on Tuesday night. You go again, and then they have to go again against Arsenal. So the games come thick and fast, and you can't just keep pondering on what's happened. You have to just sometimes move on quickly and be prepared for the next game. And I expect in the next game there'll probably be a few changes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm presuming the man of the match will be from a Manchester City side, so let's pick our man of the match with Car Finance 24/7.
Man of the match on Talksport with Car Finance 24/7. Get your finance sorted first, then choose your car. Search Car Finance 24/7 today.
I feel this one could be unanimous. I'm going to go with you first, Stuart.
Well, I think, I'll tell you what, I'll lead up and Charlie can deliver the punchline. I think there was some brilliant supporting casts in De Bruyne, in Stones, in Aki, but the one that I would give it to is
Jack Grealish. But I just think that, like we've talked about taking time, Man City spent a lot of money on Jack Grealish for the English player. A lot of pressure on him as a player, coming from Aston Villa to Man City. First season showed glimpses, but this season seems to have settled in. He's got his role in that left-hand side of midfield, and he's playing with a freedom and an enjoyment and a real discipline towards his game, and he was magnificent today.
This is a side that has always been so flexible, so easy on the eye. But, there were things that Jack did today. He cut through that Liverpool defence, particularly Trent Alexander-Arnold. But, of course, today they were missing their star marksman, Erling Haaland. How dangerous does this mean that City can be in the next few games, given that they're still in 3 competitions, that they can still adapt their game even without their main man? It looked like they missed him in that first half. There were just a few instances in those opening sort of 20 minutes or so where it just seemed they were missing a target man in the box. But they adapted the game. Players like Jack Grealish stepped up. And that is what we're seeing from this Manchester City side today. We've always known they're adaptable. We know that they're an elite side with a completely different mentality. But today showed something different, didn't it?
Well, potentially. I don't think it's as clear-cut as that. One player out, and, they're such a good squad, and they know how each other play now. The interchange of players within positions is absolutely magnificent. And if they hit it off in any given day, and you're not at it as an opposition, which was today, that's what'll happen.
Yeah, no, that was absolutely spot on. I don't think Pep's thinking, Haaland's out. Alvarez is a young player he got big potential, so when he gets an opportunity he'd expect him to play well and score goals, and he's done that today. So this squad is a squad game. It's not just 11 players. Yeah, they might lose out, but Kyle Walker never played David, John Stones played, so we're not talking about that. So it's just they've got a great squad, and it's important that the players that come in get the opportunity and they deliver, and they've done that today. Yeah,
they certainly did, didn't they? And so did Jack Grealish. He was our man of the match from today's game with Car Finance 24/7. You can search Car Finance 24/7 today.
Man of the